Hello and welcome to another episode of the How Long to Beat podcast, a podcast made by members of the community for members of the community. My name is Matt and I'm with my pals Diallo
Hello, hello, hello.
and Leah.
Hello.
And unfortunately, currently missing due to mysterious circumstances is Roy. If we're lucky, he will be joining at a magical moment later in the episode, but we'll see. For now, we are three hosts and we will carry the show as best as we can as we talk about the usual being the games that we have been beaten, retiring, and playing. But also a new game since we are in a new year. We are changing
Oh, yeah.
up things a tiny bit.
Happy
Guess
New
the
Year.
game, right? Happy New Year and all that, all
Where
that
are
stuff.
manners?
Right. Yeah, we retired Guess the Game and we're replacing it with a brand new game that we're going to be revealing when the time comes. And as our discussion topic for this episode, we are going to be chatting about video games, childhood video games that we have beaten as adults for the first time. And without further ado, let us go into the games that we have beaten recently. Leah, how about you begin?
Okay. Well, I have been on itch.io for a while, so I have been getting through a lot of first we had Itchmas, so I was going through a lot of the Itchmas games, but we will be talking about those later. So what I did was I went back to probably one of the reasons I even started playing games on itch.io was the developer Robert Yang. So he does a lot of like LGBT experience culture sort of games. So his newest one is called Rainbows Are Carnivores. So I played that one. A lot of his games are like very small, sort of like silly, sort of humorous things. They span from like making you like sob to like making you like laugh out loud. So this one basically you are a fisherman and you're trying to catch fish, but instead of fish, it's men to make out with. Um basically it's supposed to be like you're on Grinder or Tinder or whatever and you're like pulling, there's always another fish in the sea or whatever and you pull them out and then you have to like go through all the little like settings to be like temperature of the water can change and whatever and see like what's going to get you like the best heart percentage so you can finally be in a relationship with this. But it's so funny because like there's little gags going on and it's really funny to play in his like usual humor. So it's like a 15-minute game maximum. So I don't want to like spoil like any of the actual like fun things that there are to see. But there is nudity in it, so I guess that's the warning. A lot of his games feature nudity, so yeah. So but yeah, that's the first one. The second one, I went back and I know I used to play like I've tried out like a lot of his earlier ones. So then I went back and I started replayed a few of them and I tried playing for the first time and finishing at least most of the ones that I hadn't played yet. So Apollo 2 is another one. You're just like on the moon. I don't know if you're supposed to be an astronaut or something, but like you have a photo of your family in your hand and you just basically walk around until your oxygen runs out. Not really a game, but it's kind of powerful because you can like see the earth is in the distance and you're like, I'm out here, but I can't get back to my family. The next one I played was Shape Shit, which might be probably one of the games that Matt might really appreciate.
Of course, yeah.
So basically in this one, there's 4 targets on this floor, and you have to try and fling poo to make sure that it lands on the targets. So basically, like you use the you use the mouse button to like exude like a string of poo, and then you're just supposed to like use the mouse to like fling it at the different targets.
To exude a string of poo.
That's
Yeah.
grim.
It's beautiful.
So you can do little, little duds, or you can do like a nice long snake or whatever and just try to fling it at targets. But like with the physics involved, like sometimes like it lands and then it rolls away. So that was kind of nonsense. But
that
yeah, that's
rules.
cheap shit. Stick Shift was probably the first one of his games that I played, and it's probably like the most erotic non-hentai game that I've ever played. Because basically you start up a car and you've got your hand on the stick shift and you're supposed to like get all the way to like the fastest shift without like exploding the engine to your car or whatever. So that one, there's not much to it, but it's very erotic if you
Right.
understand, I guess, how stick shift. Then Hurt Me Plenty, which is a BDS game. Basically it's like it teaches you how to do boundaries correctly. So like there's a guy on all fours and you're just spanking him. But like they do start off with like creating boundaries. So like they ask you like what's your safe word and like what clothes are we going to wear? Like you know, how hard am I allowed to slap you or whatever? And then you just do what you do. But if you don't listen to their safe word, the game will time you out with
Huh.
like actual real time. So like I was playing it just to see like how far you could push the game and it timed me out for like 2 hours. So like even if you quit the game and come back, it would still be like no, you can't do. He's like mad at you or whatever. So I was like, "Oh, I appreciate that this game kind of like treats it like it's not like The Sims where you're like I'm just going to take away the ladder and they're all going to drown and it's going to be great, you know? Like it doesn't let you be mean to the characters or whatever. It's like teaching you something and you're learning, you know, respectfulness in these, you know, situations. So it's not just like getting tortured.
Gamifying consent. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Succulent is another one that I've replayed. It's basically the closest to stick shift. Um, Basically you're just sucking a popsicle, but you just have to finish the
Fuck.
popsicle. Then there's rinse and repeat, which you are in like a communal shower or like a gym shower or whatever, but there's like a class list on the wall and like it's also played in real time. So like when I played it, it was like yesterday. So it was like the class had just let out. So there were people in the shower or whatever. And the guy like walks up to you and he's just like, oh, can you wash my back? Can you wash my abs? And like it slowly gets like more erotic as it goes on. But because it's set in real time, like the next class was gonna be like today at 6 o'clock. So like as soon as they leave, there's nothing else to do in the game until the next class. So like I couldn't play it again until like tonight, I
That's
guess, which is very sad.
wild stuff. What the hell?
Yeah. And then there's which I had played. I remember I had opened it first ages ago and I tried to play it, but like there was not class had happened yet. So then I forgot about it and then I forgot when the class was going to happen and I missed class. So then I couldn't play it and then I just uninstalled it because I needed the space on my computer. So like now it was like awesome that I made it just in time for like as the class was letting out. Um uh Where's the beef is another like stupid one. It's just like find the object and it's a picture of a beef. Find a picture of a beef, find a picture of a cow, and you win the game. That's the end of that one. Um,
Incredible.
Logjam was another one where you a short one, silly thing. You're just like a logger and you're chopping wood all day, and it gets hot because you're just chopping wood alone in the forest. So he starts taking off his clothes, and then you have like a lunch break, and you just sit down and you eat your sandwich while you're looking at your phone.
I will say, based on the title, I also expected Logjam to be another poop game.
Oh, that would be good title. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard Lads is one that apparently was based on like a viral video of some British people like hitting each other with folding chairs, which I don't recognize at all.
Fuck.
But it's basically you're just like in this tiny little English backyard and you're like hitting like one guy's like hitting him with a chair, or like you can have him like smoke something, drink a whole bottle of like wine or beer. I have no it looks like a wine bottle, but I'm like, you're not chugging a whole bottle of wine, I don't think. So I think it's supposed to be beer. I don't know. They just didn't have the assets for it. Um yeah, and then there's some other thing. Oh, you can turn off the music, and then there's something to do with the other guy. There's like 4 guys with you. But eventually you just have to decide whether like you can have them make out, you can have them fight each other, and you can decide love or war basically. So that's that one. And then the last one that I have here is Cobra Club, which is essentially just this is just about dick pics. The whole game is you're standing in front of a mirror, just sending dick pics to the social network or whatever until you get
Oh God.
your account gets terminated, essentially. So that one's a little bit more like coming back around to Rainbows Are Carnivores, where it's just like, a little bit of that gay culture that you may or may not be privy to at the time. So those are all the games that I beaten lately.
I don't think we can top that. That was a wild bundle of innovative video games. My gosh. Okay, after we recovered from that blast, I would actually, sorry if I'm taking the reins here so much, but I would actually really, really like to hear your update, Diallo, on Tokimeki Memorial. I've been waiting for this ever since I saw that you put it
Oh,
on the notes.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's finally back.
It's finally back indeed. So this is kind of like a blast from the past because if you remember, I beat this game, oh gosh, probably like May, June, over the summer earlier this year. And I sort of neglected it as I want to do with several video games. But just had to get back into it recently. So a refresher for people who may have forgotten, Tokimeki Memorial being a series of Japanese dating sims from the 90s where you're trying to you're in high school and trying to romance your classmates, etc. For the playthrough I'm doing right now is the playthrough that I've been playing on stream, which will be my third complete playthrough of the game. My first time I forget what my first ending was. I think it was Yukari, and then eventually got the Shiori ending. But this time around, we're going for Mira Kagami, who is sort of the fashion icon diva of the school. Like there's rumors that she's a model, she's got purple hair, she's really conceited, and that's really iconic. So we're trying to romance her this time around. And it's been going well. We're currently we just got to year 3. I was hoping that I could finish it last night, but I always underestimate just like how much content there is in these games. So we're in the 3rd year so far. Things are looking good. We did fumble. We took her to the school's culture festival towards the end of year 2, and I thought that maybe she would enjoy seeing what the art club had going on, which ended up being like painting of nude models. She was not into that at all. She ditched us and left us there. But we were able to recover. We had a nice Valentine's Day together. Things are looking positive. And in fact, at the beginning of year 3, they sort of you hear this sort of like voice from the heaven, like what stats you need to work on in order to be able to romance Shiori Fujisaki, who's like sort of the main character, the one who you're supposed to be going for. But also, they give you pointers about how you're doing with like the girl who has the most affection for you. And they confirmed like, okay, at this rate, you have a lot of things that you need to improve if you want to be able to romance Shiori, but things are looking to be going well with Mira. I was like, cool, we're locked in. We can probably get the Mira ending this playthrough. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love that this game continues to have cute little moments sprinkled in that you're always discovering. A couple highlights from this playthrough have been, I decided to go on the class trip to Hokkaido this year, and that ended up having a little mini game, a Dragon Quest style mini game where there was a bear that appeared out of nowhere wanting to attack Mira, and I had to JRPG style fight it off and defend her. She was not grateful at all. She was like, well, of course you would defend me. Like, I'm so beautiful. Who come to my rescue? Like, that's the kind of character she is. Right, yeah. But that was a really fun moment. I love little mini games like that. There was also a cute little moment that I saw yesterday where I took Ayako on a date to karaoke and discovered that she's a really good singer. You get like a full 2 to 3 minute cutscene where she's just singing a full rendition of a song. Just little moments like that I really love in this game. We also had a moment where we scheduled a date with Mira, and she showed up, but she was like, I'm so sorry, my brother has a fever, I have to go take care of him. And she had to cancel our date and to go back and to go home and take care of her younger brother, which is kind of a more humanizing, seeing her in a more I guess humanized light, because she's so haughty and ha 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 ha. She has this little cackle she does, which actually kind of sounds like. But getting to see I guess the more softer side of her, in general, getting to see the character growth over the 3 years that you play the game is something that I really enjoy. We'll be finishing up that playthrough in the near future. And the other game that I've beaten is Kirby Air Riders. And I say beaten insofar that I was able to get a completion of the single player campaign called Road Trip. And it's really interesting. I think I mentioned previously, it plays kind of similarly to how the single player campaign for Smash Bros. Works, like World of Light or something, where you progress through a couple different stages and do little mini games and other mini challenges, have little mini boss battles and stuff. And what's notable this time around is there is an overarching story. There's cutscenes that sort of explain some of the lore that's happening in the world of Kirby Air Riders, and it gets to some surprisingly dark places. Like some of the cutscenes, I'm sure that if you showed them to anyone out of context and asked them to guess what game series it was from, you would get answers I don't know, maybe Mass Effect or some sort of doom and gloom sci-fi thingamabobber, but surprise, surprise, it's a Kirby game. Like it looks very like kind of like
Yeah.
horror. And Matt, you saw some of this when I
That
was playing on stream. Yeah.
that tracks for Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Like,
Okay.
you think it's
I,
like
I, and
very,
I,
very
Oh.
soft and cuddly, and then just like, oh no.
right. And I was saying, like, I understand that I'm not up to date with all my Kirby lore and everything, but my understanding is that, it seems very cute and cuddly on the surface, but like below that, there's a lot of, I guess, like more sinister things brewing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting for me to see, I guess, the darker side of Planet Popstar. Um, and I'd be interested to see if, Kirby continues going down this sort of like darker, edgier path. But yeah, it was fun. Towards, I would say, the second half of the campaign, the difficulty of the challenge is definitely amped up. I had to retry a lot of the mini games over and over again before I could finally get a completion. And of course, there's branching paths that you can take as you're going through the road trip. So I have, gotten to the credits once now, but there's plenty of replay value. I'm going to do sort of other paths, see what those have in store. And then besides the road trip mode, of course, it's also still, City Trial has been a lot of fun. All like the online play. I'll be playing this game a lot more in the future. But wanted to just make a quick little mention of that here in the beaten section.
Roy, since you have joined us now, why don't you? Yeah.
I believe I mentioned this at the last episode that I was checking out games from the
Yeah.
library and renting them. Well, I beat my first one from that, which is Kirby and the Forgotten Land on the Nintendo Switch. I would say it was pretty good. It was pretty strong. It's like an 8 out of 10 game. Because what I talked about before, it's very fun. It's very breezy kind of thing. Like a lot of Kirby games, you're meant to kind of smoothly go through it. Not necessarily a big spike of challenge or anything. But there's a lot of puzzle elements in this one. There's a lot of make sure to be checking the environment for secrets and all that. So it's always engaging, which is important. If you're not gonna have any challenge, but if you keep me engaged with like something else, that's good. And I mean, it's not like there's no challenge, but like I beat the entire
Oh
game
wow.
without dying once, kind of thing. So it was like a lot of the challenge more was like, oh, figure out whatever puzzle kind of thing. Feels like a good formula for future Kirby games because this game went full 3D. It's very Super Mario 3D World, which I like Super Mario 3D World. The problem with 3D World really wasn't the gameplay, it was the fact it was a bit boring and safe in terms of the aesthetics and all that kind of stuff of Mario. Not that the game was boring. I'd say, I think the game's best part was at the end because I really liked the final boss and implications it has on the broader Kirby lore and stuff like that. I do think one issue the game has is it doesn't feel like it evolves a lot throughout the game. I feel like it had very similar energy, very similar difficulty, very similar everything throughout the game. I mean, the difficulty escalated some, but you get what I mean. It just didn't feel like it evolved a ton as a game as it went through.
Which is, I feel like that's surprising for a
And
main line Nintendo game. I feel like they try to truly like change stuff up throughout the game. Usually these days, or am I mistaken? Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I actually thought about that, and because I have like a
Mhm.
review I'm gonna write, I actually was thinking of
Yeah.
mentioning that exact point. That normally, from like Super Mario Bros. 3 to Super Mario Odyssey, Nintendo's one of those things they either like to throw something new at you or they like to really build
Yeah.
up on their mechanics as they go on. I really didn't get a huge sense of that in this one, so I
Huh.
thought that was a bit surprising. This game looks really nice. That's good. And I thought the post-apocalyptic theme was pretty well done for like a Kirby post-apocalypse. It's fun that it's like less a post-apocalypse and more you're exploring this world after everybody just went and
Oh,
left,
after the
which I
rapture
think is
happened.
kind of
Okay.
fun. Pretty much, they just were like, you know what, we're going to a
Ah.
different
Mhm.
planet, and they just
I mean,
left.
mood.
It's like a million
Yeah.
years later, right? Just like, man, fuck this planet. Let's just find somewhere else.
Shit.
and it's implied that they're the ancients who've been like a big war thing since Kirby, the Kirby Return to Dreamland. That's it on the Wii. So it's like cool to see that war connection. Music is quite good. I always like how Kirby has insane song titles for random shit.
Oh yeah.
Gotta have 2 planets approaching the Roche limit. That's a
The
Kirby
what
deal.
limit?
It's the limit of the gravitational
of
pull
course.
of 2
Yeah,
planets within each other where they can't
that is a
escape
snappy
each
title.
other's
Yeah.
gravity. It is. I think I will probably return, assuming that I get the time before I have to return to the library, to try some of the post-game content, which I've heard is good. So that could improve my opinion on it as well, and also means I might end up talking about it again, even though it's beaten,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
beat the whole main story. But yeah, this is quite good. I recommend it. I have to think if it's the best Kirby game, but if not, it's right next to it kind of thing. But not very challenging. I do think it keeps a very similar energy throughout the whole game.
Yeah, okay. Right, I guess, and that brings us to me.
All right.
I've beaten 4 games since the last time, and 2 of those I've mentioned in a previous episode, so I'm gonna be starting with those. One being the eternal masterpiece Puyo Puyo Tetris, which I have now beaten the full campaign of, which I am still impressed that a spin-off Tetris game like this has a full 8-hour campaign with story and whatever the hell. But like I said last time, this is a really, really cool, inventive, and fun matching of these two similar but very different block falling puzzle games, and it matches these two play styles in different ways as well. Not only um, by having like truly individual Puyo Puyo matches against some characters and pure Tetris matches against some characters with different goals and whatever. Uh, I talked last time already where there's a game type where it's after counter goes down of a couple seconds, it switches from your Puyo Puyo board to your Tetris board, and then again when the counter goes down, vice versa the whole time through, as you do a versus match against an NPC. And it's really fun having to actually like have your brain in both of those spaces and like constantly change and adapt to the changing rules of these two game types. It's dope as hell. I said last time that I love how I can use my Tetris skill to make up for my lack of Puyo Puyo skill in these swap battles, as they are called. It's a really, really cool, fresh take for on this whole block falling puzzle stuff. As I advanced in the campaign, they added more and more different types of game types, even really late into the campaign, which surprised me. And at the very end, you even get matches where it is genuinely Tetris blocks and Puyo Puyo blocks falling at the same time on the same screen, and you have to truly uh, mix those different rule sets at the same time. It's not just like a switch of a screen, after a couple seconds. It is happening actually at the same time, and it's just so fun. I had a hard time beating a bunch of these matches, especially the Puyo Puyo focused ones, because I genuinely suck at that stuff. And I don't think I would ever like truly enjoy a pure Puyo Puyo game just because my brain can't handle that bit of effort of the color matching and chain setup stuff. But yeah, like I said, I think last time the mixing of these two things is incredibly fun. This was one of my favorite playthroughs of the year, 2025, and I am really, really excited to play the sequel at some point as well, which, as I think I mentioned before, stars Sonic the Hedgehog, which makes it only better. So that's gonna be dope in the future. And speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog, my second beaten game that I mentioned previously is Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which technically last time I already had it like at a like main completion, as I got gold medal on every default difficulty cup, whatever you want to call it. But I had a bunch of stuff in here that I still wanted to do. Since, as a racing game, they often put more than one goal in there, so you have stuff to do. And I spent a lot of time in the previous 2 weeks doing a lot of stuff in here. I think this was truly like my main game for a good while, and it was, I think, the first racing game in a long time that I truly put this much time in to clear stuff. I unlocked, the hardest speed class, which is a supersonic speed class and whatever. Got gold medals on all of the cups. Not even just regular gold medals, because there's if you fail a race, you can spend in-game tickets to redo a race or whatever, but that is marked on your gold medal at the end. So to get a truly like clean gold medal, you have to actually beat the cup without any retries, and that's what I like strive towards and achieved with the fastest speed class, which was a lot of fun. I mained Hatsune Miku on
That
the
was gonna be my
hoverboard
next
as I'm
question. All
yeah.
right.
No, I mained her until a point though. I played her for 95% of all of this,
Hmm.
but at some point you unlock a character that's just undeniably the best character, unfortunately. There's a rival system in this game where for each cup there's a random Sonic character, an NPC that is like just given the title of rival. They are a harder difficulty NPC, and you are tasked to specifically be better than that rival. And you're supposed to do that with every character in the roster, to unlock Supersonic as a character, as like the final, unlockable character. And Supersonic is unexpectedly just straight up the best character when it comes to the stats. He also fulfills the same racer archetype that Hatsune Miku did, so it was an obvious choice for me to use him throughout the rest of my playthrough after I unlocked him. It is ridiculous though. This character is only available in the single player campaign stuff. You cannot use him in, online races or even the time trials that have like leaderboards with other players, which is fair because this character is, for example, 100% immune to enemy items, which is crazy for an unlockable character in a
Yeah.
kart racing game. I welcomed it. I was able to completely just focus on the actual racing, on the actual
Right.
time. And I play these kart racing games, but I said before that I don't actually care for the item stuff, and I always focus on getting through it all by avoiding most of that chaos. And if they give me this character and I earned it by actually beating all of those rivals, which is an optional thing to do, I figured it's fair for me to use it to clean up the final couple of gold medals. And so that's the only reason why Hatsune Miku did not 100% stuck until the end. Though she will be again my main character when it comes to actual, uh, further further optional stuff that I'm gonna be doing at some point, probably. There's also like a thing where there's like hidden red rings, 5 of each on each track that you can like find by exploring around the track, which is something I want to do at some point. And there's also still, of course, a mirror cup with all the tracks mirrored, as is tradition in these kart racing games. But I purposefully left that open for the future when I want to go back and get more of this game, just so I have more to do. I had a great time, like truly, like grinding out multiple speed classes and getting all the gold and getting the best stuff and whatever in this game. This was one of the most fun racing games I've played in a long time. I'm looking forward to the season pass stuff, the additional content that's gonna be put out in the coming months. So I have more to do in there and stuff. Um, but yeah, for now, I am considering it done in the sense that I have beaten and achieved everything I want to do right now, and I'm going to focus on other games until that additional content is available. That is that, and then the 2 remaining games that I've beaten are there were one session clears. I had not mentioned these before, and these both share a theme. So this episode is coming out in January of 2026, but of course, as we are recording in advance, truly, like, this recording date is set very close to the actual holidays in December of 2025. And I played a couple games accordingly, trying to get into that goddamn holiday feeling, which I am not like having too much of currently. So I picked a couple games from my backlog that had like Christmas themes, Christmas subjects, and put them in a little marathon game marathon session. And number one is a thing called Christmas Celebration Escape, which is a originally originally a browser game, an escape room style game. And yeah,
Mm.
like judging from the title, I thought this would be a fun like escape from your company's Christmas party or whatever. Which is like, yeah, I feel
Same.
that. Yeah, I see. Okay, you get me. Thank God. Um, Unfortunately, that's actually not what this is about. You're supposed to
Mm.
save Santa who got kidnapped and locked away in like a Christmas town or whatever, like a very bland sort of pro-Christmas thing. Um, whatever that
Gamble.
means. Yeah.
Another video game by Big Christmas. They strike again.
Yeah. Yeah. I for one support our brave troops in the War of Christmas. Anyway, so that, I mean, that's fine. If it gets me in a Christmas spirit, I would have been fine with this. So okay, but the true problem with this is it's a really bad escape room game. I've played a bunch of these. I mean, they are basically
Yeah.
point and click puzzle games, but this one, like, it had moon logic. It had insanely repetitive puzzles, if you could even call them puzzles. 90% of them were just code input things where you had to find the code in another place of the map and then put it in, and then again and again. There was nothing like actually interesting or like brain teasy about it. It was super bland, and I do not give two craps about this. So not a recommendation. Avoid at all costs. But I beat it, and I'm never gonna think about it again. Thankfully, the second Christmas game I played was marginally better. It is a difficult one. This is called Christmas Massacre by a developer called. They are a little bit known, I think, for a certain type of video game. Christmas Massacre is developed by Puppet Combo. I don't know how popular or well-known Puppet Combo actually is, but they have like a bit of a thing for really grimy, purposefully edgy indie horror games, that sort of thing. Christmas Massacre is one of those, coming out a couple years ago, going full in with the aesthetics of analog horror, which was really popular for a while. So you get like the thickest VHS tape overlay on really, really janky retro graphics and that sort of stuff. And the plot is probably one of the edgiest thing that I've played in a long time. Definitely this year, because you play some fucking.
Oh boy.
Remember Manhunt? Remember Manhunt from Rockstar?
Yes.
That like,
Yes.
yeah, like intensely grimy game where you had to stealthily murder a bunch of games with like real focus on like the way that you kill them and whatnot, like that type of realm. And this is very much obviously inspired by that in gameplay and tone, except that it goes a little bit further. In like, for example, the first chapter of this, you play as a little kid in like a Catholic school, and you're not allowed to celebrate Christmas with the other kids for some unknown reason. So you grab a knife and kill everybody.
Oh, whoa.
It is insanely grim, but of course it is so like so over the top, edgy and nonsensical that it is not something that you can take as serious in any way. So, but you have to like be able to take that sort of nonsense with a grain of salt to actually get any type of, entertainment out of this stuff. The actual gameplay, again, like, is very similar to Manhunt, maybe a little bit simplified, but is a stealth-based game where you get put or you visit different environments, mostly residential homes, but also like a little cinema place and whatnot. And you just are tasked to kill everybody without getting caught or anybody escaping. Like, it's just a very nasty, grim game. It is stupid. It purposefully tries to cross a lot of lines in terms of like even nudity, though. Like, of course, these are PlayStation 1 style polygonal characters, so they get away with that sort of stuff. But I was thinking with this game, especially lately, since there is again like discussion about controversial reactions by
Mm.
video game retailers based on what the content of the games as is allowed and whatnot. And I'm playing this game and I know there's shit in this game that has made other games like being banned from stores or like even banned in countries, but it is just, I guess it flew under the radar because it is a small indie
Mm.
game or whatever, and also nobody cares. And also, it's just like one of those examples of how um, arbitrary that entire decision is.
Yeah.
That I don't know, retailers or industry elements, industry whatever the hell do make. Uh, and yeah, this is insanely tasteless. It's insanely grungy. And it's juvenile and stupid. But it's also like because it's so stupid, there's like no actual harm in it. It's just like a stupid game. And like gameplay wise, I honestly had a pretty decent time. It even made me laugh a bunch of times. There's like this whole psychotic vibe with this, where the serial killer character that you play has a talking cartoon Christmas tree in his home that tells him to do all of these heinous things. And that is
Oh, okay.
so
That's
absurd
yeah.
that it is funny. Even when the next scene has you like do horrible things to some
Mm.
innocent person. It's just stupid. Uh,
Yeah.
would I recommend this? I don't know. If you like Manhunt, this is probably worth a try, but yeah, it's nothing like that I would go out of my way to recommend or whatever. I've played worse. I had a better time with this than the Christmas celebration escape game. Did it get me further into the Christmas mood? Sometimes it's like chaotic moods honestly felt appropriate to how I feel to the holiday season in an innocent way, I mean. Uh, but yeah, I guess I don't know, could have been worse. Anyway, that is my completions. Let us move on from that to maybe something more wholesome.
I kind of missed like the sort of like edginess that didn't like
Yeah,
take itself too seriously, sort of thing. There's a lot of like even books and like other art that are like not the most wholesome, but you still get something out of them. And I
right.
think like limiting that in any realm of art is just going to like lead nowhere for us. So like even if it's like a little too edgy at times, at least we know like you play something, you get a reaction out of it, but like it's part of experiencing art.
Yeah,
It takes away sort of like the thinking part of like the user experience, I would say.
yeah. Uh, like this game is truly not trying to have any deeper meaning or moral or whatever. It is
Okay.
blatantly trying to be edgy garbage. Well, not edgy nonsense for the sake of edgy nonsense, just for entertainment value, and because some people enjoy being uncomfortable in their own limits.
Yeah.
And this is one of those pieces of media that provides that. And I was generally, while playing this, I was kind of like, thank God there's still a market for this bullshit, right? So because
Yeah.
I don't know, it's
Yeah.
also kind of a palate cleanser. It's you don't have to
Yeah.
take anything with you from bullshit like that,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
like you gotta experience a spectrum of things to truly appreciate art or whatever. And this is one of
Yeah.
the ends of that spectrum, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not harming anything. Though, yeah, like I said, let's maybe move on to something more wholesome to even this out, I guess.
I think brings us back to Leah, right?
Yeah, exactly. Before I go to another marathon rant, Leah, what have you retired or paused?
Well, surprise, surprise, this is another Robert Yang game, but it's
Oh,
actually it's actually not uh, it's kind of like a 2D sort of RPG visual novel thing. But the reason why I retired it is that it kind of there's too little to do. Like it's basically like a walking sim. And like I got tired, like they would just have like a whole scene and then be like, okay, now we're gonna go to the west. And then you walk to the west. and it takes forever. And then you get there and they're like, oh, now we're gonna have another scene. Okay, now we have to go north, and then you gotta walk north. But then there's rocks in the way, so like instead of going straight, you gotta go this way, and then you gotta go that way, and then you gotta turn this way. And it's like, oh my god, like where are we even going? I don't even like. There's like a map to tell you where to go, and I was like, I want to finish this game, but like I just didn't have the patience at the time. I was like trying to like get through like some other stuff before I had to go cook dinner. And I was like, no, I need this to be done right now. So
Yeah, I feel that.
it's basically just pause for now until like I have like a full day to be like, okay, that's gonna be we'll just have them walk on this side until I can actually finish that game, which I can't imagine it's gonna be longer than 20 minutes. But like again, walking is most of that time. So I
Who
paused
got
it for
time for
now.
that? Yeah.
um so yeah, so that's my retired and pause for
Yeah, yeah, I have a similar game that I felt similar about with it's not the time right now, but maybe coming back to it later. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a roguelite rhythm dungeon crawler that I love. The original game I purchased when it came out and dabbled with it. Years later, it was even Game of the Month on the How Long to Beat forums, and I actually beat the main campaign of it for the first time at that point. And now I'm coming back to it because there's a DLC that dropped years ago called Amplified, which provides another custom, fresh, fully made campaign based on a new character. And I came back to play through that character, and I also came back to Crypt of the Necrodancer because there's another DLC that adds Hatsune Miku as a playable character. So I wanted to keep the Miku chain alive throughout these episodes. I was kind of hoping it would let me play through the new campaign with Hatsune Miku, but that is not how it works. The campaign is hard tied to this new character called Nocturna, if I'm not mistaken. Which, sure, a bit of a bummer, but all right, let me play through this Nocturna campaign first. I fought, and I did start that. The structure of the original campaigns was that you went through 4 distinct zones of dungeons, and the roguelite element comes in that you can unlock either permanent upgrades outside of those dungeons or purchase them in those runs through a dungeon in an in-game shop merchant guy. But if you lose, it's back to square one, and you have to attempt that zone and again until you actually beaten. I think it's 3 layers of the zone plus a boss fight each time. That's the structure for zones in the original campaign. This amplified campaign that was added through the DLC put 5 zones into the campaign, so it was already longer just by a numerical value. It also is, I don't know if it's harder, but like it is very, very straining after a while. Zone 1, 2, and 3 were like fine to get through. Zone 4 took me probably most of my playtime during these sessions. And I did eventually beat them, but I kinda burned out at that time. So Zone 5, when it started to not only have 1 boss fight, but 2 boss fights back to back, tied to this new character's personal story, the plot, uh, I was kinda meeting my limit of how much I wanna, like, grind in this game. Like, it is not easy, and having that, like, endurance factor of, not only already having a whole zone additional to what is usually in these campaigns, but also having that zone be twice the amount of boss fights. I eventually decided that I am not gonna actually force this. I'm not feeling it right now, even though, there's a bit of sunken cost fallacy in there that I really like. I already spent this many hours on this. I
yeah.
really want to just take the last step, but I'm my sensible side thought and won that this might be it's gonna probably take more time that I'm willing to give it, and it's probably gonna make me more annoyed than actually entertained. And so I dropped this before I could like finish this last zone, just for my own sanity's sake. Maybe I will come back to this and try it again, but right now is not the time. And before I, full paused or retired it, I also went, at least gave a quick peek to the Hatsune Miku character, which has her own abilities, of course. Her weapon is the leak, as is, part of the old meme with the 11 polka song and whatnot. And like
Love that.
Iconic.
every other
Iconic.
character you can purchase new weapons in this roguelike. But she is tied to the leak. You will never get anything else. You have to master the leak. But like her ability is pretty cool in how she attacks the enemies. Um, and I could see myself coming back to this to try to beat the basic campaign with her as a custom character. But again, like right now is not the time. Clearly, I do not have the endurance for this type of difficulty. And I mean, I beat the original campaign years ago, and that was satisfying, and that was maybe enough. Maybe I should not force more out of this if I'm not truly feeling it. So that's retired for now. Other games are gonna be pretty short. Like Magic the Gathering Arena, I'm putting finally in this retired section. Not because I'm not playing Magic anymore, but I'm noticing that the paper Magic at the actual local store is, filling that void, and I'm not actually grabbing the digital version that much anymore. So I'm just like, clean break. We had the fresh year anyway, might as well and get rid of it for now before I, have this eternally in here without much to say. So it makes sense right now to get rid of it. Uh, Also, I'm putting Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival on the retired or paused pile for now, which is that Japanese drumming rhythm game, which is still good. And I do believe there's a sort of campaign or like progress marker that eventually ends in a win state with credit roll or whatever the hell. But currently, I'm not in the market for more rhythm games. I think I got enough of that for now. Crypt of the Necrodancer also filled that um, while I was in the mood for that. So I'm just putting all of that aside for now. Probably going to go back to Taiko no Tatsujin eventually when I'm, looking for rhythm games again. But clean slate right now. And the final game that I retired is like barely a game. A couple weeks ago, I was lying awake in bed at 2 a.m. and I was thinking about Pokemon Sleep, that gamified sleeping app that came out years ago. And like Pokemon Sleep, I used back then. I really, really liked the novel idea to have gameplay features around your sleep time.
Mm.
I like the idea of having your sleep time and sleep habits actually like unlock stuff in a game that you can do stuff with. But the only reason why I dropped Pokemon Sleep years ago was because it had way, way too much UI clogging, where you had to go through eternal repeating menus after waking up to even get to the actual gameplay of that game, and it really, really bothered me, and it took way too much time to get the basic stuff done. At least back then. I have no idea if it's still this way nowadays.
Pokemon Sleep still exists? I haven't seen anybody talk about it in forever, so I thought it just kind of
No, it definitely
gone.
still exists, but I don't know what state it is in.
Mm.
But lying awake at 2 a.m. back then, I was thinking about that game and was thinking, Pokemon Sleep is a bit old now. Surely there must be other games at this point that try to do the same thing in different ways or whatever. So I scoured the instead of sleeping, I scoured the App Store trying to find anything that might be similar.
Mm.
It doesn't seem like there's many options out there, but I stumbled over a thing called Sleep Town that somebody recommended somewhere online. And like the basic idea is pretty decent. You set yourself a specific time to go to sleep, and you are supposed to actually, um, not log in, press the button when you're actually going to bed, and it actually locks your entire phone. You're not allowed to do anything else, which is kind of cool. Um, and in the morning when you wake up, you get as a reward, if you actually stuck to that, a building for your town, like seems pretty basic idle game stuff. Now I was hoping there was more to it after that. Like, you need an incentive other than good sleep, I guess. You need an in-game incentive to want
Yeah.
those buildings.
Right.
Maybe there's like different building types, and there's like a whole economic simulator type attached or whatever, where you have to rank in gold with the right buildings or whatever. Who the heck knows? I was expecting something like that, but it doesn't seem like there's anything that these buildings actually do that's worthwhile. There doesn't seem that like there's anything that you can actually do with these buildings that you unlock by good sleep. And in that sense, the game doesn't do anything truly that my regular sleep tracking app doesn't already do. And by that
Mm.
merit, it was already like pretty quickly out of the window for me, unfortunately. There's like a paid premium version for $2, which I think the price is fine, and I think that adds a couple more um, features. But even that didn't seem like it would actually add a proper game in the way that I would want it to. And so, yeah, not what I'm looking for. It's out. Goodbye. That's all. They're retired.
The Sleep Town, I guess, is by the people who do Forest, which is like everyone's favorite like uh
Forest.
focus tracker. Yeah, it's
Wow.
basically the same thing where it's like it takes over your phone and you grow a little tree. So like you tell it like how long you want to be focusing for and you grow like a little tree. And then like there's different kinds of trees that you can turn it into over time.
Mm.
And you're supposed to like build like this little forest, but like there's no incentive past that. So it's
Yeah,
basically the
yeah.
same thing where it's
Mm.
like everyone I there was a few Discord servers that I used to be in that used to have like one channel like dedicated to like tracking your little forest and everything. And I was like, I don't understand like what this doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. But this Sleep Town also reminds me there was a game that I used to have on my phone called Fortune City that I just had to look up now, which was basically it's a finance app, but it did the same thing. Like you track all your like expenses and income on the app, and then like depending on like what like let's say you like bought a game, so you get like a little arcade, so then you put that in your city, and then
Oh
like
my
if you get
god.
enough arcades you can like build you can meld them together and they get like a bigger arcade, and like you just grow your city over like what you're spending your money on, which was
So
good, but
you
like
want to spend more for that game?
Yeah, yeah.
but like it's so funny that it's like it like I only ever used to buy like you buy food like every day when you're working in the city, you know? So
Yeah.
like I would have so many cafes in this game and I was like, there's nowhere for me to put any of this. Like I just need food. I'm buying food because I want to, not because like I mean because I need it, not because I want to, but like
Like that's a cool way to visualize where your money goes. I can
Yeah.
see
yeah.
like an actual practical use for that, yeah.
Yeah, it was
But
pretty cool.
it's funny to have a mobile game that urges you to spend money elsewhere instead of its own
Yeah.
like microtransaction shop.
There's
Yeah.
definitely, like, transactions in it, which is the other reason why, like,
Mm.
I stopped.
Oh my god.
So, yeah.
I didn't even know that stuff existed, but I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. If anybody out there, listeners, if you have ever heard of a quality gamified sleep app that actually has proper game mechanics behind it, please hit me up. I'm very interested. Yeah. But with that, let us move into our third section, the playing section, what we are actively playing right now. And I would say, Diallo, how about you ring us in here?
Happy to do so. So the first is a game that I've mentioned on the podcast previously, I guess, but now it's DLC for said game.
Oh.
It's the Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension DLC. And this is kind of going to be just like first impressions because I'm only about maybe 90-ish minutes into said DLC so far. But unfortunately, I have to say my initial impressions are not super positive. So to, I guess, like recap my experience with the end of Pokemon Legends ZA, I hit the credits. I did a couple of the post game missions. I did most of the post game missions. There's not too many to do, and then so I think for a lot of players, after they hit the credits for the main story, they focused on grinding through the Mabel's research tasks to get to level 50 and get the shiny charm. I said I'm probably not interested in this grind. I want to just sort of do the story missions, and then like organically, if I increase my research level, then so be it. But I'm not going to specifically grind out the shiny charm this time around. Just like I'll stay put and see what happens when the DLC drops. So I go to the DLC, and the first thing that happens to me is that I get ambushed by a group of level 105 Mankey. So I was like, okay, so it seems to me, because I guess one of the big things for this DLC is that Pokemon can now be over level 100.
Yeah.
So it seems that they are expecting players to have done a lot of grinding in between completing the main story and starting this DLC. And I don't know, that just like left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I'm curious to see, because I know there's a lot of new Mega Evolutions announced. There's stuff where you have to go to like the Mega Dimension and like catch new Pokemon that weren't available in the base game.
Mm.
And that's all that stuff is appealing, but it just I don't know. I don't want to have to grind that much for it. I'll probably do it eventually because again, I am fully the problem. I will complain about Pokemon and then just continue buying the games and and buying the DLCs. But again, this is going to be just very first impressions because I haven't gotten super far in that yet. I guess I got some more grinding to do, and I'll report back as my exploration of the Mega Dimension continues. But it's off to not the best start. Also, it's a little bit weird because so there's these little like wormholes that you go into, but there's like a time limit that you can spend in them. It just all feels very grindy, very not fun. And I've seen some people grumbling about it online. I haven't read too much into the complaints yet because I haven't. I want to be relatively unspoiled, but I have had a negative initial impression. It seems that a lot of people have not been in love with this DLC, so I'm curious to see if my opinions will change as I go further with it. But for now, it's meh. So that's the first game that that's the first game that I've been playing. The second game that I've been playing, I have a lot more positive things to say about, and I'm excited to talk about this one. This is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So if you remember earlier this year, I mentioned that I had signed up for a Game Pass trial, or not a Game Pass trial, but I signed up for a month of Game Pass because I wanted to play this game on Game Pass. But then I had this whole sort of debacle where it wasn't accepting my controllers. I ended up not being able to play it via Game Pass, so I had to abandon it a couple months ago. But fortunately, I want to say like November-ish, it went on sale, and I snatched it up. And the reason that I decided to finally start playing it recently is for a couple different reasons. The first is because I was about to turn 33, and it felt like a sign, like
Okay.
33rd birthday, play Expedition 33. Little did I know at the time that actually turning 33 has in-game story like implications. It's relevant to the story, so that was a fun little surprise on me as I was approaching my 33rd birthday. And the other one is that I knew that it was going to be nominated for a lot of Game of the Year stuff, and I wanted to sort of like see what the hype was about before we entered award seasons. And a lot of friends who recommended this game to me had told me, oh yeah, it's like a totally short game. You could like, finish it up really quickly, like 20 something hours. And I naively assumed that would be true. I was very quickly disproven because I got to the end of Act 1 of the playtime of already 15 hours. I was like, okay, this feels like it's definitely going to take longer than what they're saying. Moral of the story is that I should have consulted with howlongtobeat.com before I started this game.
Of course.
It's definitely shaping up to take much, much longer than that. But been definitely enjoying it a lot so far. It has its hooks in me, for sure. I heard high praise for the story before I started actually playing it, and the story has been good, but I feel like for me, the biggest draw has been how fun the gameplay is. And I think that boils down to a couple different things for me personally. First is the presentation. So the environments are just stunning. Like visually, this game is beautiful. In particular, I think where I really fell in love is there's this really early area called Flying Waters where you're in this sort of underwater kind of like seaweed forest, and it's like bubbles rising up, like multicolored seaweed as you're like exploring this little underwater area. And I was like, this is just like stunning. This is beautiful. Like I feel like I'm in the most gorgeous, fantastic world, and I love getting to just like, roam around in here. Another thing that really enhances the presentation is that there's a very, very minimalistic HUD for this game. Like every now and then, if you can like interact with an item, it'll show like the on-screen. You can press X to pick this up prompt or whatever, for example. But besides that, there's basically most times it's just your character like on the screen against this like stunning visual backdrop. There's no like mini map, for example, no little like quest marker to point you to like where you're supposed to go next, which makes it feel very, very immersive. Along similar lines, there's no quest log for the game, so you gotta, if a NPC asks you to do something, you just have to sort of remember, like, okay, this person wants XYZ. They need XYZ to accomplish that. So it makes it feel like, very like someone in real life has asked you to complete a task, right? Like in IRL, you don't have a quest log, so it feels a bit more organic that
Unless
way.
you make one.
Unless you make one, right? And again, I am taking notes because I do love when a video game makes you take notes. And this game does do that. The exploration for this game also has been very, very fun for me. So I'm definitely the type of person when I'm playing a video game to talk to every NPC, listen to every line of dialogue, explore like every nook and cranny. Like once I know what the path the game expects you to go on is, I immediately go the opposite direction because I want to make sure that I'm, taking all the side paths, doing all the detours possible. And I feel like this game really, really does a good job of rewarding exploration. Areas that you explore are just kind of like vast and sprawling to begin with. It's not, which I also find for that's one thing that I find really refreshing for a turn-based RPG. I feel like typically for turn-based RPGs, like it's a lot of them fall into a trap of having a very like a linear structure. Like you'll go to like a dungeon and you have more or less kind of like a straight path through. Maybe there'll be like a little side detour every now and then with like a slight little dead end. But for the most part, you're not really exploring that. Like the exploration feels very contained typically for a lot of turn-based RPGs. I find for this game, I feel like it's because it's so sprawling. There's so many like secrets tucked away in various little corners. It's not just like a little like, okay, you're gonna take a little left here and that brings you down a slight hallway which has a little dead end. It's like you can take a left here and it brings you this whole side area which will eventually connect back to another area. The map design I think is just like really well done, and I have a very poor sense of direction in video games to begin with, and because there's no mini map in this one, it makes you really be extra vigilant about paying attention to my surroundings, making sure that I've like gone down every little path that's possible to go down. And just again, the worlds are beautiful to traverse. Visually, it kind of reminds me a bit of Elden Ring. It's visually and also from a gameplay perspective. It reminds me of the feeling that I felt when I was navigating the various like dungeons in Elden Ring. So that's been surprisingly super, super satisfying for me as well in this game. And one of the most fun aspects has been the combat system, which allows you to do a lot of like customization and mixing and matching. So you've got these things called pictos, where you can equip them to a character and they give you sort of like a base stat boost, but also each pictos has a passive ability where if you beat a battle 4 times with the pictos equipped, then you unlock this passive that you can then equip for all your characters. Reminds me a little bit of the Esper system in Final Fantasy VI. And you can get really creative with like the different builds for your character because of that. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because you have so much freedom. I often get decision paralysis. Like there's no like characters have different sort of like base kits, but for the most part, they all have like really similar stats. There's no one person who's like stands out as a certain role. Like they can all you kind of have to decide what role you want every party member to fill. And so again, it's nice to have that freedom, but also when you have to make that decision, it's kind of like puts the pressure on you. And again, you can reskin or you can reassign stats later on if you like don't like the allocation that you've done. But I think it's very fun to sort of like build your character in a way to just kind of like see how broken your builds can get. Like I like getting to the point where I'm just like one-shotting all the standard enemies. But again, it's really satisfying because even if you get to a point where you're like strong enough to like basically one-hit KO most of like the main encounters, there's so many cute little like cute. Why am I saying cute? There's so many interesting mini bosses tucked away that are more difficult for like even if you're destroying regular mobs. There's more difficult challenges that you can find if you are willing to explore and look for them. Typically, I tend to not love in turn-based combat where you have like sort of like real-time. So there's real-time dodging and real-time parrying that you can do as your enemies are attacking you in this game, and I often don't like that. But they're definitely growing on me this time around. I think because it feels because you can theoretically get through any combat without taking damage if you're good enough at dodging and parrying. So whenever I get beaten by an enemy, I often feel like, okay, I can, if I, kind of like, I guess, again, going back to the Soulsborne, if you're able to sort of like learn the enemy's moves and be able to predict their moves well enough, then no encounter feels like insurmountable. My personal gauge about will I keep retrying this fight now or will I circle back to it later when I'm leveled up more is like, okay, is the enemy one at KOing me? If they're gonna, if it's like I have like one, if I can only make one mistake and then I'm dead, then go back to it later. But if it's an enemy that I can like survive a couple hits from, even if it's like a really hard one, that sort of motivates me to keep trying the battle over and over again until I can finally take them down. And usually, I'm able to do so, which feels super, super rewarding. Also, on a personal note, I love how delightfully French this game is. I lived in France for a bit in my early 20s, and it sort of like reminds me of the time there. Like, you've got a little enemy that's like inspired by pétanque, which is I've never seen that in a video game before. Which is like a sport where you like throw balls, little metal balls and stuff. Just like lots of like, little French things are sprinkled in and out the game, which I think is super, super nice. One thing in particular, and one moment that like really where I was super falling in love with this game is going back to the atmosphere and the presentation of the game. The soundtrack features a lot of operatic music, where they're just like singing in the background. And at one point in the game, I was doing my little thing, and I was listening to. I was doing my thing. I was listening to this sort of like operatic music in the background, and I noticed that I heard them mention a character's name, and I was like, oh, okay. So I listened in a bit more, and I realized, okay, they're singing in French. They're talking about some of the characters, and as I was listening to the lyrics, I straight up got chills because I was like, oh, okay. I feel like there's feeling a little tea about some of the broader story things, and like some of like there's some foreshadowing that's happening in these lyrics, and so that was like really fun to catch. So I feel like if you're able to understand French and if you're listening out for that, there's a lot of like neat little Easter eggs.
Oh, that's super
that you
cool.
can, like, yeah, I straight up got chills. It was exciting.
I loved then that they didn't translate the lyrics to English or whatever. They did pure
Yeah.
French. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Good to keep it French.
So I just got to the end. I finished Act 2. I'm at the beginning of Act 3. But I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks, and I haven't gotten to play it for like a week now. So it'll be at least a 3-week hiatus before I can go back to the game. That often tends to be the kiss of death for me. I'm hoping that I'll be able to power through once I get back and sort of like pick up where I left off. But I know just by knowing myself as a person, if I don't touch a game for 3 weeks, it's in the danger zone. So I'm loving it so far. I would love to see the end of it. But if you never hear it again, that's why.
Hey,
Wow.
if you go 3 weeks and then I see you're not back on it, I will poke you about it because this game deserves to be finished. This game's so good.
For sure. And also another reason because I have my Steam Deck and I could potentially play it on my Steam Deck while I'm out of town, but the thing is, it's so gorgeous that I want to see it like in all its glory on my nice monitor. So I want to wait until I'm back home so I can do it justice.
Some games you really want to see on more of the big screen than the smaller one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Roy, what have you been playing?
Yes, well, for playing, it's Wordle, who I'm sure if Leah did it yesterday or anyone else did, yesterday's word was fucking hard.
You have
It
no
was
idea.
difficult.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
Yes, it was. Who the hell who thinks of myrrh?
oh, I mean, it's seasonal.
It's the
in
Christmas
December,
season.
yeah.
Good
The
word.
only reason I didn't even it was a good word. I didn't even know this word was a word.
I got the R and the H, and immediately I was like, I got this. I know
Damn,
no
Right,
other
God.
word
okay.
I can
went to
think of.
6. I went to 6. I tried every vowel. The only reason I even remember this word is the name of character in Arknight.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, I was
You
like,
gave up.
that's the it's full gamer when that's the shit you're doing. For just some quick hitters, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Played a bunch of big multiplayer sessions with friends. Still very fun. Nothing new to say. Civ 4 had like 2 or 3 days where I just was playing the hell out of it, just kind of zoning out. Won multiple games. Still fun. For more new stuff, I played something that I can't talk much about because I can't quite get into the meat yet, but I'm really excited for it, and that's Madden Next 12. So, Madden Next 12 is a fan mod / fan update to Madden NFL 12, which is like the last strong Madden game, basically. To update it with new, all the updated new rosters, all the updated new logos and uniforms, all the new stadiums, that kind of stuff, and otherwise fix up some stuff with it, and I've wanted something like that because the modern Madden games suck, but I want to be able to actually use stuff that's in modern Madden in terms of the NFL teams. So putting that in a good Madden game is appealing. I haven't been using the mod itself that much so far because I want to do a full league creative team thing, and the creative team is currently broken on the mod, so I can't do that yet.
Oh.
But fortunately, the rosters work with the base version, so I've been doing that with the baseline Madden. I like Madden a pretty good amount, so that's nice to me. I
You're the
also
Madden guy.
The Madden
I am the
man.
Madden guy. I am the one sports guy here, aside from racing.
Yeah.
The Madden Madman.
Oh,
The Madden Madman.
that's good. That's good.
I mean, if we ever do that soundtrack episode, you're gonna hear so much fucking Madden, let me tell
Yeah.
you. Another game I rented from the library, I've only played it once, but I mean, considering what it is, that's enough to get a good idea, is Super Mario Party Jamboree. Because why not just rent a party game from the library and see if anyone will play with you in the next 2 weeks or whatever. It seems a lot better than especially the dark age of the Mario Party games, but also like just normal Super Mario Party. Played on the Bowser board, which is a very fun board. I'd seen Alpha Red play on it, so I knew it would be good, which is part why I picked it.
I was tricked into buying Mario Party Jamboree. My friends
Tricked.
were I was in Discord one night and my friends were playing it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Diallo, like buy Mario Party Jamboree, play with us." I was like, "Okay, cool, I'll play with you." So we played together that one night and they've never played with me since. I'd like to personally put on blast. We can tell the name, please, please, please. But
That's
yeah.
brutal. Well, maybe we can play at some point. Who knows?
There you go.
I mean, this seemed fun. The minigame list looked maybe a bit shorter than normal, I think because they delineated it between motion control and non-motion control. And since I wasn't playing with motion control, I assume that reduced the amount of minigames, because I think you need the Joy-Cons for that, right?
Uh-oh.
I think.
For the motion control ones, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and I didn't want to play with Joy-Cons. Yeah, that's all I really have to say on it right now. It was a fun game. I think I got last. Second or first, actually. It's my friend who got last because Bowser stole their star and stole all their money. That's what it was. And it was very sad for them. Because on that map, Bowser can just steal your star. And then the last game is one I can't really talk about. It's the third game I rented from the library, which was Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I can't talk about much because I have only played the first stage. You know, it looked really nice. It felt snappy to play, but it's only one level, so I'm not really going to say anything aside from very basic first thoughts like that.
Let me tell you about Waddle.
Yeah, I was about to say. Now I'm excited to
Right.
hear Matt's. Well, I won't spoil it, but
Right. That's coming soon. But yeah, I need to talk to you about Waddle. For once I got Waddle in my playing as well, but it's not the Waddle that you folks are playing. In the time since the last episode, we got officially licensed German Waddle that some German, some German newspaper got them, and now they are doing
Heard
Waddle
off.
in German, and it's fucked up. It's we got umlauts, which is crazy.
Oh dear.
And of course, German is of course known for long words and whatnot. So I don't even know how many 5-letter words they are finding appropriate for this game. There's a lot of weird shit. I saw, I got an ad, this is available now, and I got curious, and I have been playing daily for a bit over a week now. And I let me tell you, I again, as a reminder to the audience, my native language is German, so I know this language. But even so, in Wordle, I rarely got a word in less than 5 attempts. It's fucked up. Today, the German word was, 12, the number 12 in German. It has an umlaut and no other vowels, and then you got the Z, because it's 12, you got the Z and you got a W, and it's just fucked up shit. And I could not find it. I ran out of basically all the letters and could not find it until like the 6th attempt. And it's that sort of vibe for like most of the days. It's
Yeah.
a way different experience than English Wordle ever was for me. I don't think I'm gonna like stick to this. This was more like a curiosity for me. That's why I picked this up for a couple last days. But yeah, I mean, I'm not one to talk about Wordle much on here, so don't expect me to bring it up again necessarily. Uh,
Well, you
so
never know.
don't
It could.
so don't tell me about yesterday's English Wordle being hard, dude. You have not walked these trenches.
True, I have not had to use an umlaut.
Yeah, that is a game changer, I'm telling you. It's crazy.
But I will say, trying to play in a language that you're not native to is probably playing on hard mode to begin with. Like, if I tried playing
Yeah.
it in like Spanish or French, I would be like, I don't remember that these letters exist. So
Can't wait for Land Wordle.
I wanna
I
say,
would
I mean,
rock
that makes sense. Playing Wordle not in native English should be harder, but I wanna say English is a very from my perspective, English is a very basic and simple language. You know what I mean? And and that's a
Ooh,
good thing.
bird.
I like that about English, actually. I love that about the language.
You're that we're basic.
It's so interesting to hear because English like borrows from every other
True.
language possible, and like all
Yeah.
of our like grammar rules are all over the place just because it's like 40 languages in a trench coat.
English language rules can best be described as, don't worry about it.
It's actually
Yeah.
funny. I mean, okay, totally aside that nobody speaks proper book English. Everybody speaks like a colloquial street English, obviously, which is
Yeah.
not necessarily grammatically correct at all. Uh, Shit, where was I? So even aside of the fact that we don't speak book English anyway, from my point of view, coming from German to English, I think the English sentence structure at least is super streamlined. At least in German, there's a lot more
Hmm.
special cases of where words are thrown around in certain moments and whatnot, which is something that bothers me in German. And that's something why I liked learning English actually back in the day. Um, there's also a thing
Yeah.
with I thought actually that in German, all of the verb, is that what you call it in English? You know, the um,
Yeah.
yeah, what that was the
Action.
actions exactly. In English, they all end with ing, and you have I think they're usually longer than 5 words, I think. But in German, there's a lot of short verbs that end with en instead of ing. And I thought there would be a lot of those in Wordle coming up, but there was like I think one, and that's it. I thought actually it would be maybe easier because of those words, but didn't happen. One
Right.
bullshit thing though, before I forget about it. Sure, English borrows from a lot of other languages. But nowadays, in a globalized world, German is borrowing a lot from American English. And I was
Mm.
so pissed the day that the word for German word was hobby, which is inherently an English word. Yeah, it's common in
Uh,
German as well, but I was not thinking about that at all. I think toast was also a word one day. And like, fuck off. I'm not thinking these words when I'm doing German word.
We also
They're getting ya.
that's like that one time that you had a problem with Fritz because
Oh
Fritz was
yeah.
the word in English.
True. Yeah, it's
So
fucked up, man. Waddle Waddle is evil, dog.
language.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the native German word for hobby?
Uh, you could probably say some nonsense like Freizeitaktivität or whatever, which
Uh,
would be like a free time activity. But no, hobby is a
hmm.
very, very common word. We use the word hobby.
Right, 'cause I remember I took a couple German lessons during the pandemic, and they taught us like das Hobby.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
There you go. But I don't think Waddle is gonna be my hobby for very much longer.
I
Um,
guess hobble is not the way.
Yeah. So, okay, moving on from that to the game that Diallo is interested in. Okay, I want to, lean back a bit and go with a backstory here. There's a cool project, a long-running year-old project, where people make old PC games available easily on modern systems without any setup. It's by the project is called Retro XO, and they put out over the years multiple packages of PC games from different eras that you can just launch from a pre-made package for free in a sort of PC emulation environment and have no worries at all. They have brought back a lot of old games that are infamously difficult to run on modern systems or even on period accurate systems these days. So great project. And recently they put out a fresh new batch of games, all about Windows games from the 90s specifically. And that collection, while going through it, had a game with the lovely title of Tokimeki Memorial Tyson Puzzle Dama. And I was immediately very interested because, as we have heard from Diallo, Tokimeki Memorial is a very iconic game in Japanese dating sim history, etc. Like, it's a pretty interesting thing, and I've only heard about it, mainly through Tim Rogers' video essay on the Action Button channel, um, and of course from Diallo here. And like, I saw this Tokimeki Memorial game here, and it's a spin-off game. It is not one of the traditional dating simulator games at all. This one is a falling block puzzle game, and it's like perfect for me. And it
Surprise!
was like
There it is, Tetris.
it was like destiny telling me to here is my perfect chance to actually play a Tokimeki Memorial game because this perfectly catered to me. Uh,
That's
and it
hilarious.
actually rules as well. I want to say it is an improved version of Puyo Puyo even. So I mean,
Ooh.
first things first, this is a Japanese exclusive game. There's no localization at all, and I couldn't really find a proper manual or anything. So a bit of figuring out how this game works and whatnot was part of the adventure. But the actual game itself is basically Puyo Puyo in the way that it's a color matching falling block puzzle game in a versus mode where you actually play against another NPC that throws back garbage at you and you throw garbage at them when you do chain reaction clears and whatnot with these colorful blocks. My problem with Puyo Puyo was always that it was incredibly difficult for me to actually prepare different chain reaction clears. I had a real tough time with that. This one alleviates that and makes it way easier because they have a special block type that needs to be popped twice to actually disappear. So you can already like create color match groups without them immediately like popping and disappearing. You can like actually set them up so that they only get triggered later, basically. I don't know if that makes sense just in a verbal way, but trust me, it makes it a lot easier to actually get combos going coherently, consistently. And it gives this game a much more intuitive flow, I feel, than pure Puyo Puyo does. So I'm having a blast with this. There's a sort of campaign with different difficulty options. I tried the easy difficulty first, which is not much. It's just 3 matches against NPCs and then it's over and no fanfare, whatever. So I'm not really counting that as a completion. I'm trying to clear the medium difficulty where you have to go through, I believe it's 9 matches against increasingly harder NPC characters. And of course, it's Tokimeki Memorial. All of these characters are the girls from the Tokimeki Memorial game. I think actually all of them are from the original Tokimeki Memorial game, even, but I'm not the expert. I'm not sure. And what's really cool, like, there's a whole character select screen. You going into it, I thought it would be a sort of spin on the dating thing where you would choose the girl that you want to date or some stuff, and like the games that you win count as like good dates or whatever. But that doesn't actually seem to be the case. You seem to be controlling the girl itself. Like, the girl is the protagonist that you're controlling, it seems, and you're having, I don't know, arguments with other girls or whatever, which is represented as these block falling puzzle fights. There's a whole plot with like dialogue and whatever, but it's all Japanese. I have unfortunately no idea what the hell is going on with that. I
Aw,
would love to see an English
You
translation.
gotta stream it, and then maybe I can.
Actually, that would be
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, that would be a good idea. Um,
that would be a good idea.
but the coolest thing I think about this is there's a character select screen, and I wasn't really sure what that would actually matter since there's no like actual dating plot or whatever. Like, why am I choosing a girl here? The interesting thing that I have not seen in any other like Falling Block versus game is each character has a different way of how it throws the garbage at the other character. I think in like Tetris or Puyo Puyo, it's like always, the same stuff that either rises from below to put pressure that way or like falls from above onto the playing field of the enemy. But here, each girl has a specific like shape of blocks that comes from a specific direction or whatever. And so you have like a strategic choice of like how you want to attack the other player
Does sound
by
fun,
by by
actually.
choosing a girl. And it's really clever. This is like a unique
Hmm.
feature that I've not seen in other games like this. It is Puyo Puyo, but improved in my tastes. I'm having a great time, and I'm hoping I can actually like beat the main difficulty campaign. Like it's a cool game. And I'm really happy that this random game collection like put this on my plate. Basically, it's dope as heck. I would actually recommend this actively. Especially if you know these characters, which I don't from like by name or personality. I
Yeah, I might try this out from the sound of
Yeah,
things.
I recommend it totally. My main character girl, and maybe Diallo can like approve or disapprove, is
Ooh,
yeah,
I'm
is
excited.
Yuko Asahina. I have no idea.
I love
Okay, cool.
her.
All
She's
right,
kind of she
we
always
have approval.
oversleeps. I was saying when I
Proved.
was playing this yesterday, I was saying of the cast, I feel like she's the one who I'd most likely be friends with IRL. She's just kind of like a fun girl, you know. She likes to do fun stuff. She's just kind of
Hell
cool.
yeah. Okay. So
I
yeah, that
approve.
I'm very glad to hear that. Okay, dope. Yeah, she's cool.
She's also a little bit like the Timu version of Shiori Fujisaki because they have a very similar aesthetic, and obviously she's not as state because Shiori's like the hardest one to aim for. So there's that as well.
Okay,
But
yeah. But Shiori one of the girls that you can play as well, but like uh, that is a bit
nice.
vanilla, I feel. Um, yeah, no, that okay. That is Tokyo Memorial Tyson Puzzle Dama, dope game.
Before we move on from it, I got. So obviously, I assume you're like, are you like emulating it, or was it on Steam?
No, it's an emulation. It's this whole project that emulates old Windows games. You can download it for free,
Oh, okay.
basically.
Because I was thinking like, what version would I get? Because I guess it's on like PlayStation Saturn
True,
too.
yeah, there's also console versions. I guess you could also emulate that.
Also, I guess it's like meant to get more context on what happens after the original Tokimeki Memorial.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Maybe.
That might explain the character select. It might be like to see what each character is doing after that.
Maybe, yeah. It has I forgot to mention,
Now I'm invested.
it
I'm
has
invested too.
it has super cool presentation, in the way that, the characters are displayed behind the playing fields of their, like, respective, stack of blocks and whatever.
Mhm.
And as the blocks rise to the top and they get closer to game over, the characters react to that. Like, there's this one girl that is an athletic swimmer, I believe, and it's like the water rises for her. So
Is it
I, I
Saki?
can I can no idea what the name is. Probably true. And the
Okay.
water rises for her, like it moves with the blocks, and she's like struggling to keep afloat and whatnot. And like other girls each girl has a personal representation of how the blocks are rising over their portrait and how they are struggling till they get the game over. It's really, really like polished, I feel. It's a cool game. But yeah, that's that. My final game that I'm playing right now to get done with this co-op player friend of choice and we have started a new game to play together, which is called Parallel Experiment. It is one of those point and click puzzle games that have like asymmetric co-op stuff. So each player sees a completely different part of the game, and you have to go through the
Mm.
puzzles with lots of communication. It's really cool. We have played a previous game from the same developers before. It might even have been a free game that worked as a prologue to this. I'm not sure. It is definitely in the same story with the same characters. And here you are playing two detectives, trying to solve some crime mystery and whatnot. And you keep getting trapped in these like puzzle game rooms and whatnot. It's one of the we have played a lot of these asymmetric puzzle co-op games. So this is definitely like one of the um better ones, like one of the more polished ones with like clever ideas and the way that you have to communicate stuff and interact with each other in limited ways is like really, really interesting. For people that like to do like co-op gaming, especially puzzle gaming, this is like a high tier recommendation. And whatever else this developer is doing, Parallel Experiment rules. We're probably gonna be having that finished until the next episode, I assume. But yeah, that is my playing stuff. I would like to give the talking stick to the next person.
I believe Leah is the last one.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The first two kind of go over quickly. I joined the Myrtle server, so now every time that I do my daily little puzzles on the website, there's a place where you can like share them like you do with Wordle and stuff. And they
Right.
also in that server have a channel where everybody's been playing Wordle, so now I'm sucked into their group of playing
Oh
Wordle
my god.
on Discord. So instead of just doing it in my own little server on the side, I've been like contributing to their streak. Um, so that's those two out of the way. And then now we have well, actually, let's just go to Red Dead Online and Elder Scrolls Online. I've gotten back into both of my online games and been playing around for Red Dead. It's snow time. It's now a Christmas season, so we have snow all over the maps, and all the reindeers are out,
Ooh.
and there's Christmas trees in the moonshine shacks, and it kind of feels like my anniversary with this game because when I first started playing Red Dead Online was like right after Thanksgiving, like 2 years ago. So it kind of feels like it's like my birthday in this game. And just like when the snow hits,
Oh.
that's like another year has passed in Red Dead. So that's been fun. Elder Scrolls Online, I've kind of just been doing the daily like check-in, login rewards for like the last 2-3 years. And I was like, I feel really bad that I haven't really like done anything with my guild. I found like a little checklist of doing like all the different areas one by one. So in my entire time in this game, I think I've cleared like 2 areas. So now I've got a whole checklist of every single mission in every single area, and I'm just gonna very slowly go through over time. So hopefully I can get back to doing guild stuff with that one. Next is Funko Fusion. I'm still here. I'm still getting through
Fuck.
this one.
For some reason, we're still fusing.
Still suffering.
But it is starting to outstay the welcome. I do want to
Wasn't it
try
starting
at
to say the
least
welcome last episode already? Like
Only
Like-
starting to.
I'm trying to get through the Scott Pilgrim things, but I at least want to try like at least one of each world. The problem is like I started with Scott Pilgrim because I knew that one the most, and I'm already lost like the first like level in. So I can't imagine what it's like when I play something like Umbrella Academy, which I have like
Oh, wow.
very
Yeah.
not very limited knowledge on,
Right.
and will have no idea what I'm doing. So like I do want to try one level of each world, but after that, like we'll try each world, and if I can't figure out the worlds and I have to sit here with a guide to get through at least one level each, and then we're gonna be done with this game. Jumped into God of War, and I have this memory of playing the very first God of War. Where I don't even remember what was happening. It was just like a lot of platforming things to do. And I remember there was this one point where I had to like jump across the platform and I missed. And I did that like 3 or 4 times and I kept dying there. And it was just to jump up across the platform. And I like the one thought that was in my head was, I'm too old for platformers.
Oh my
Like
god.
for some reason I was like, you know what? I don't even want to deal with platformers anymore. I'm past Mario. Like, what is this business? Like, I don't want to play these anymore. So like I gave up on God of War, did not touch them all over the place. Like every time they were coming out, I was just like, no, I don't care. Those are platformers, I don't care. But then like eventually everybody was like, no, like the Norse version of God of War that started with the 2008 one is different. It's like a little bit more actiony and RPG that you like than It is so far, but it's it's funny having played it after it came out, where it started and there was like this it starts off where he's like bringing down this tree. There's like this handprint on the tree. You don't know what the handprint is. You kind of get some glimpses later on, and I guess there's more to that story later on. But first he was like touching the tree, and I thought he was like thanking the tree for its life before he like hacked it down.
Uh-huh.
And that for like 2 seconds I got really excited because I was like, "Oh, are we going to get like this whole like appreciation of nature while he's like doing like all this stuff or whatever?" And that wasn't the thing, but it was so funny that I was expecting like this violent, brutal game where you're playing this god of war to have like this very like gentle moment at first. So I was like, "Oh, I forgot what game I was in for a
Oh my
second."
god.
But okay. They tack you on with the little sidekick, and now it just feels like I'm playing Last of Us. Like it's basically Last of Us. It's BioShock Infinite when you have whatever her name is. Um and it's just like you just have the sidekick that's helping you around, but they're really just getting in your way the whole time. And you're just like this surly older dude that, has to be like the main character, and you've got like this wily sidekick to the side. And it's got like all the tropes at the time, like you've got the yellow paint to show you where to climb, except here it's red because he's the god of war and it has to be bloody. You've got like the boosted mechanics, like, oh, I can't get there. Let's just throw the young one up and he'll pull you up somehow. Um, yeah, like a lot of little puzzle mechanics, like how do we get across this bridge? We have to throw that rope to break the bridge so we can cross the bridge, and then freeze this other thing so we can stop the gear and blah, and like all the regular like puzzles or whatever. So like I am trying to keep myself from comparing it to every other game that I've played that's like this. So it's really hard for me to be like, okay, but I've done this before. Nothing here has been like innovative so far. Like I went to press the settings even to I pressed the button assuming it was gonna be settings, and immediately the whole pause screen shows up and it's like, here's your armor, here's like your costumes or whatever, here's like where you put your runes. And I was like, oh my god, this is just Breath of the Wild, this is Spider-Man, this is, like every single other game that I've been playing. Like, I do like these games, but it was so funny where I was just like, this is the game that won over like Red Dead that year. So there's a lot going against it where I'm trying to like get through it, but I'm also going through it a lot faster than I thought. Like, I only played for like 2 hours and I'm like 4 chapters in, and I think there's only like 12 chapters. So I don't know what's going on, but maybe there's going to be like chapters that are a lot longer or they have like sub
It makes
chapters or something. I don't know.
it makes sense for the earlier chapters to be longer or shorter.
Yeah, so like I can see like a lot of them were still kind of like tutorials, but now I think I'm like that's another thing where it's like Last of Us, where it's just like where do we have to, or like Uncharted, where it's like where do we have to go? That thing in the distance, okay, and then you spend the whole level getting there, and you're like, okay, we're here. Where we gotta go next? That thing in the distance. Oh, okay, this whole level's gonna be getting to that thing.
At least there's
But
gonna be more combat, I suppose.
Surely.
yeah. Yeah, that was another thing. There's like the tutorial fight or whatever was like super brutal, and like it brought me back to like, oh right, this is God of War. This is like the game that's known for like how brutally like violent it is, which it's funny because I play a lot of like vaguely violent games, but it's weird for me to have games that are like super bloody. Like even Red Dead can be bloody sometimes, but like in Grand Theft Auto, like if you shoot somebody, it's like 3 comically blood splats that come out of them. It's not like, their arm, leaking blood or whatever. So it was funny to just like watch like all this viscera just being strewn across the screen. And I was like, wow, okay, we're being like realistically violent in this one. What else I have here is talk about Good Authority, which is another Robert Yang game, but this one is about New York City. It's less it's about uh the city planner that pretty much cut up New York City back in the 30s, which is Robert Moses. So it's basically like a simulation where like you're playing as him trying to get around the map of Manhattan and try to like figure out how we're gonna cut up Central Park and which bridge we're gonna build and whatever. And that one is it's okay, but again, it has the same kind of problem that Lonesome Valley does, where to do anything on this map takes forever because you're also dealing with traffic. And I guess that's the point because it was
Mhm.
like, oh, he's a city planner. He has to like figure out how to cut up the city or whatever. But it's like, oh, you have to go uptown. And it's like that whole strip of the town is just red. So you're like, oh, getting through that traffic is going to take forever. So I was like, oh, okay, now you understand why we have the bridges that we do in New York City now. But I was kind of like rushing myself through it because the podcast was about to start. So I
Oh
didn't get
gosh.
a chance to like really take a look at it as deeply as I wanted to. But like I figured it was gonna be like a quick one. And then I was like, no, actually I want to like take my time with this. So I'm gonna come back to that later. And the last thing I have is a whole bunch of demos, basically. I did the demo for Art of Reflection, which is like a Portal-like puzzler. Um, basically, you have to zoom in. There's like these little red orbs with like some glowing substance within them, and you have to like zoom in on them. And like the moment you zoom in on them, it basically hook shots you to where they are, and then like it takes you across like whatever pit or whatever you were trying to get to, and eventually it gets to a point where they'll be like up in the sky. So you have to like slingshot yourself to the orb and then like fall very slowly so you can like sling slash to another one. And then some places will have like little mirrors so you can like get around different corners and stuff. So like you can like throw yourself through the mirror to the ball in a different angle or whatever. It's cute as a demo, but it got old really fast for me. Like I don't know if I can play stuff like this for more than an hour at a time. Like Portal is one thing because Portal has a story-ish to it.
Yeah.
This is just like, you're here. Why am I here? What is my motivation? I don't know what I'm doing here. So it was just kind of like, I'm not gonna play more than an hour of this. Like if this is an actual like 7-hour game, I don't know what possibly they could do story-wise. BIRD or Bird, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. It's kind of like Little Big Planet, and it's kind of like Audio Surf or something. Like
Excuse
it's this
me.
weird thing where it's like you play like this little bird, and it's like a side scroller, and like lights are coming down at you, or like traps are happening, and you have to like avoid them as you get through the side scroller or whatever. And the demo's only like three levels. I guess if that's indicative of the whole game, I'm uninterested. But if there's more to the game, it probably gets a lot more exciting later. I don't know. But it wasn't really for me. Then there's Service IT, You Can Do It, which is basically my favorite sort of sim. It's basically the ones that you like learn stuff on the job. Except this one it's a little too close to home because this is basically what I did for a few years as a hobbyist, and also like in at job, just because we didn't have like an actual ID person for a while. So it was fun, but it's like a lot of like soldering motherboards, and then like logging in people, like changing people's passwords, and then adding a user to a group or whatever. And I was just like, okay, like I've done this in real life. I don't need this in a
Yeah.
game. So like I might need a little bit more distance from my reality to this game before I like actually play this full game. The other one that's kind of like this is Tiny House Simulator, which is a little too close to House Flipper. And basically, I'd just rather play, like, if they had a Tiny House DLC for House Flipper, I'd rather play that than, like, this entire game where you're just playing Tiny House Flipper. That one I'm probably not going to get. Backpack Battles, which I was so excited about because I like games where you have to, like, organize things and put them into, like, a little backpack. And I guess I thought that there was gonna be more of that, um, of those packing mechanics, but what I didn't realize is it's just like an auto battler. So
Oh.
you pack everything in your backpack, and then you go into the battle, and then you just watch them fight, and then you win or you lose, and then you go back and you get more stuff in the store or whatever. So like it got old after like the fourth battle, and then I was like, you get like 10 lives to play through the demo. So I did that until I died. I lost all my 10 lives, and I was like, okay, uninstall that and done with that one. It is kind of a cool idea and an interesting concept for a game, but also not really for me. So um yeah, the other ones I have are Avarium, which is supposed to be a more realistic tiny bird garden where like you have actual um bird species, bird groups, where like you can have like seafaring birds, and you can have city birds and forest birds, mountain birds, or whatever. But like I just unlocked all like the free packs, and they all just showed up as like baby birds, and I was like, I don't know what else there is to do. Like I can sit here and look at birds all day. That's fine. That's cool. I can do that usually. Um, but then nothing really happened until like one house sparrow grew up, and then it was just like bigger than all the other ones. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here. So I haven't really uninstalled it yet because I want to give it like a little more of a shot because I'm very excited to see like the actual uh types of birds that they have versus like the very cartoony tiny bird garden ones. So we'll see how that one goes. I don't think that's even actually out. I think it's just like the demo that's out for now. So we'll see. And then I believe this is the last one. Yeah. Gecko Gods, which is like a cute little platformer, I guess, where you are a gecko on an island, and it's like maybe their gods were based on geckos. Maybe you are a descendant of the gods. I'm not really sure. Like you're just running around. But I got stuck at one point because like you're supposed to find one of the birds on the island gives you a hint that you're supposed to take this boat out of this little dock or whatever and sail out of the island. Like I'm assuming that was the end of the level, or maybe there was more to the demo like once you get off the island. But I couldn't figure out how to get into the dock to get out of there. And he's a gecko, he can just swim if he wanted to. So I was like, realistically, I could just jump in the water and just swim to wherever we're supposed to be going. But I was like, clearly I'm supposed to use the boat. So like I was trying to do that and I couldn't figure it out for like 20 minutes. So I was like, all right, look, like this is just a demo. I don't really, it's not like pertinent to me to like actually finish this demo. So yeah. So there's a bunch of other games that I'm trying to actually finish. So I was like, let me just quit here and come back to it maybe in the future. Yeah, and that's pretty much those are what I've been playing lately.
Right, yeah.
Lots of tiny games.
Yeah. After all of that, let us actually move on to our discussion topic. We have exhausted those three categories thoroughly enough, I guess. So now we are going to have to verbally fight about the subject of childhood games that we beat as adults. Which, I guess, first question first, is this something we actually care to do consciously, going back to the games we couldn't beat back in the day? Because I know for me, that is like a specific thing that I really like to do for my gaming, picking out those forgotten ones from back in the day. Anybody else, or is this just
I've definitely made conscious efforts before to go back and sort of face my childhood fears is not the right
Yeah.
phrase, but to sort of see if I could get farther than I could as a child, see if I'm a gamer, and hopefully as a person as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's been times where there were like I assumed that a game was hard, and then I go, well, maybe I was just a kid. Maybe it's understandable as an adult. Maybe I should go back and play those.
Yeah.
And so there's been a few that I've been like, you know what, let's try again. Or like games even that I beat as a kid, but it was like with my dad or something like that, where I was just like, what if I can do this on my own? Let's try that also.
For me, it's something I keep telling myself I should do more and I want to do more, and then not actually doing as much as I want to do, is how I'd put it. Oh man, I should go back and beat X game. And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't go back and beat X game.
A lot of times it's just hard to find them again. Like I had a lot of like really niche games
Yeah.
for like the NES and Super Nintendo, where it's like even if you try to like emulate them, it's like what was the name of it? Who put it out? I don't remember. Like it's kind of wild because like one of the ones that I wanted to go back to was Bible Adventures, and that like came out of nowhere and became like super viral in the last 10 years or so. I didn't know that people knew what that was besides me, because like even like the cartridge that I see people mention about Bible Adventures is different than the one that I had.
And nowadays you can buy that thing on Steam, but
Oh.
like officially. It's not good though.
I haven't really run into that problem as much because I think I've only ever gotten rid of like 3 games in my life. I just hoard all my own games.
Right,
So
yeah.
Yeah. My problem is all my consoles are at my parents' house. So
yeah, that
up
makes a lot of
until
sense.
PlayStation 3 is downstairs. But like everything else is over there. So it's just like it's in the closet somewhere where the cables trying to like put everything together. It's like, no.
Well, if you
Yeah.
still have the games, you can at least use that to find the titles and stuff.
Yeah, that's I've been really wanting to go through all the games and like either put them in my backlog now or like just have them cataloged somewhere so I can re-find them.
Could be good to have a collection for it.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I kind of went through How Long to Beat and just made my own collection of like
Yeah.
games that I can remember the name of. Like it's not a full official kind collection of everything I own.
There's
Right,
also a
right.
thing though, because you said a lot of the games that you had were like obscure stuff and whatnot. I remember like we were a PC gaming household pretty early, and my dad always pulled in those weird, awkward bargain bin games and whatnot. So a lot of those are in my nostalgic memory, and those like either like
Yeah.
even if you know the title, you either just cannot get it anymore or it does not run on a modern system. So that was a lot of uh,
Yeah.
the reason why I could not revisit a lot of games. But other titles, like I'm sure you have experienced this as well, in some sort of way. I have a lot of games that I only had a demo version of as a kid, and then as an adult, at some point, I found
Yeah,
or got the full version and actually played for the first time, and that's like a really satisfying thing in itself. Like
I know
example,
that exact feeling.
for example, if I can get this here in as well, and this might be, I want to talk about this because this might be the only ever mention of this video game on any podcast ever. I remember my dad got a weird compilation disc of family-friendly video games from some family magazine or whatever, and it included a demo version for a game called Bob's Balls, which is a fantastic title, obviously. And it is I think this is a sort of it's a sort of puzzle game that probably existed already with a proper brand name or whatever, where you are a little guy on bottom of the screen and you shoot colorful balls at rows of other colorful balls at the top of the screen to make color match things, clearing the balls and winning. Probably the type of game that you would find on the mobile game store a million times and whatnot. But back in the day, this was like an exciting thing to have on a PC as a kid, and it has,
Yeah.
for me, very iconic, weird little freakazoid cartoon characters. I think it's a French game or whatever. And if you have ever played a Rayman game, maybe especially the 2D ones, they have a certain freakish character design philosophy a lot, I think, and this is a bit similar to that. So I find it very memorable. But we only had the demo as a kid. We never got the full version, of course. But at some point a couple years ago, I randomly stumbled over this in a really obscure online game retailer that does not really do any major titles, just a bunch of very specific, odd, obscure video games. And they sold this game for a couple bucks, and I got it and finally played through it for the first time. And it was like proper nostalgia blast for a game that I never thought I would actually ever play again. So that's I think is really cool. Demos that you can actually play for full as an adult is a special experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your point about demos actually reminds me of also being in that spot with like some random ass games that you get as demos. I feel like half the time when I think about these demos, I don't even remember where I got them. It's like, it's like some of these I know were like cereal boxes or
Yeah.
whatever. But there's one. This is becoming talking about demos, but whatever. I'm just gonna go and build on the conversation. There's one demo for a game called Empire Earth 2
Mhm.
that I have no idea how I got. It's just like an RTS. I don't even know how good it is. And I remember for some reason playing that a pretty good amount. Where I was like, man, this is good. Well, too bad there's no full game. That'd be unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Well, you should,
I've never purchased it or played it any other way.
and I'm sure you could get it. I feel like that's the type of game that you might find on modern stores, and maybe you can get like a really good deal or something. I feel like you should.
Even if not, I'm sure that I could
Yeah,
download it somewhere.
true.
And I also had Age of Empires 3, a demo
3.
disc for that.
God damn, we had
Yeah,
2.
Age of Empires 3 demo. Oh yeah, Empire Earth 2 Gold Edition. It's on sale right now even. I doubt I'm
There
buying
you
it, but
go.
it's my wish list. It's Gold Edition.
The best of the
Um,
best.
but um back on the actual topic, I suppose, unless someone else wants to talk about demos.
No, you go ahead. Oh,
I mean, I used to have the the official PlayStation magazine demos,
Oh, the
and when
demo
that
disc.
started wrapping up yeah, and whenever those started wrapping up, I was like, "Where are we gonna get demos now? We're never
Oh
gonna
my
be able to
god.
play demos again." So, cut to now.
Mm.
Oh, I still have
I
my
just played, like,
Boggle
7 of
disc.
them in a row.
There you go.
Yeah.
Also, gotta say, I was looking through my old, like the old junky PC games I had, looking for that demo disc because I couldn't remember Empire Earth's name. I just gotta say, I have the CD-ROM of Boggle that I got.
Oh my
I'm pretty sure
god.
from a serial disc, but I'm not sure. It actually ruled. This is a good version of Boggle.
Sure,
I just
sure.
want people to know that. Anyway, um, so I don't know how many old games that I couldn't be as a kid I've actually been right now. So I'm gonna say that one of the big ones that I want to go back and do, just so I have something to say, is Majora's Mask.
Mhm.
Because it's actually one of my favorite games. But when I was a kid, I was just a little fella and I couldn't understand how to either get into the sea temple or the like sandy desert area, and I've never been it, even though I loved it so much. It was too much for my little. I looked up a walkthrough and I still couldn't get it. Whatever it was, there was something about my little brain that just could not understand how to advance the Majora's
It's like
Mask.
No, you have a big brain.
it's like, we for the NES, when we first started playing when my mom first started playing Tetris, I used to think that the point of Tetris was to, like, fill up the screen
Oh
faster.
my god. That is
And I
so
was just like,
funny.
why is she taking forever to, like, move things to the side? Just go straight and you win." Like,
That's
Damn,
so
this game's so
funny.
easy. Why are people overcomplicating it?
yeah. But, like, the other one that we had was Marble Madness, which, like, all the adults understood perfectly, and I was like,
I
"I
don't
don't
believe that.
understand," and, like, my marble kept falling and breaking, and I was just like, "There has to be," and, like, a few years later, I remember, like, in college or something, I downloaded, like, an emulator, and I was playing, and I was like, "Oh, this makes sense now." I still didn't complete it, but I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
Marble
maybe that might have been one of the ones where I was like, "Oh, maybe I should revisit some of the ones that I thought were, like, stupid and impossible."
Marble Madness is one that I hear a lot of people talking like this was impossible as a kid, but people still struggle as an adult about it. Like it's infamous for that in my eyes.
Mm.
Um, but you
Yeah.
know what is another insanely satisfying type of game that you didn't beat as an adult, as a kid, but as an adult? Uh, Games that you have only played partially at like a friend's house as a kid, and then as an adult you have the freedom and
Mm.
the power to actually get it for yourself. I have a bunch of those that I hugely value, like the Star Wars pod
Look
racing
at this
game.
guy with childhood friends.
Yeah, I did not have this experience.
uh, I'm very sorry to hear about that, but I had a few at least.
I had like one friend who I did play some games with, like friend kind of in
Well,
quotations,
acquaintance,
or
whatever.
like
Yeah,
kid I knew, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the only games I remember are Super Smash Brothers Melee, which obviously I did own, but that was just because I liked Smash Brothers, unrelated to that. And like some Nintendo 64 WWE game, and I generally don't know which one it even
Yeah, good
is.
luck
That's
finding
all I
that.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, good luck finding a wrestling game on the
yeah,
N64. There's
yeah.
about 50 of them. I'm pretty sure the N64 is about 10% wrestling by volume.
Possible. Yeah.
The closest I have to that is my cousin had the N64, and I think they got Wave Race, and I
Mm,
really wanted Wave Race, but we had, like, every other big game there was, so I was like, "I'm not gonna play a racing game on my own, so it's fair that I didn't get it." But, like, I remember, like, wanting to go to their house solely to play that one game, and they were like, "No, let's do something else." I'm like, "But this is my one time to play Wave Race. I wanna play this right
yeah.
now."
Well,
Um,
Mm.
those are the perks of being an
but
adult. Now you can play Wave Race whenever you want.
Exactly.
yeah. But there's also they're the ones that also had Zelda, and I don't know why they had an NES because I don't remember them ever playing it unless we were there, so I don't like I'm not sure why there was an NES to begin with. I was like, "Just give me your games. I will play them on my own." So, like, the original Zelda, like, we all beat together, um, but I didn't actually complete it on my own until like the Switch emulation version, where I was like, oh, now I get to play this and actually get through this and see, weirdly complicated for a game from that era. But we have the technology, the internet
Right.
now. I could get through it. So.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, I've got two games that stumped me as a child that I've gone back to revisit as an adult, to varying levels of success. The first one has, I guess it's a bit, it's both confession and
Uh-oh.
story. It's a game that's been mentioned on this podcast before, and it is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So I have to come clean and say that I've actually never fully beaten this
Oh!
game.
You
Um, right?
motherfucker!
Right? Okay, so full story is I've beaten the villain, the dark story or
can't-
whatever.
you-
And I can't remember if as a kid if I went back and forth between the hero side and the dark side, but I know that I've cleared the dark side. And then I got stumped on the penultimate stage of the hero campaign, which is a stage called Crazy Gadget, which involves lots of like
Crazy Gadget.
gravitational switches and stuff. I remember having to just like rage quit. I was having a very, very bad time with that stage. Um I've mentioned previously on this podcast, the ending of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is the closest I've come to crying over a video game. So I have seen the ending because my brother completed both of the campaigns and then the final, finale afterwards. So I watched him play that. So I kind of like felt like I had. So yeah. So basically, I was in. I felt like I'd experienced the ending vicariously, having seen my brother play it. But I always wanted to go back and finish it myself. And so, like 2 years ago, I bought the Steam version of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, played a little bit on stream, and then in preparation for this episode, I was like, all right, it's time. I'm going to finally go back, finish the hero campaign, beat Crazy Gadget once and for
Hell yeah.
all. And I'm sad to report that it just would not start on my
Oh.
computer anymore.
No!
And I tried several times to run the game. It just was not happening, like literal failure to launch. So unfortunately, I still have not to have the satisfaction of beating Crazy Gadget and Final Story for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but hopefully one day I'll get around to it. The second game that I want to talk about, I was more successful with. So this game is Kingdom Hearts, specifically Chain of Memories.
God.
So
Chain of
growing up,
Memories. Hell yes.
growing up, we had I didn't have a PlayStation growing up. We had like a very Nintendo household. So I was never able to play the original Kingdom Hearts on
Same.
PlayStation
Same.
back in the day. But Chain of Memories was announced for the Game Boy Advance. I was very excited because that was a system that I owned. I was like, I can't wait to see what the hype is about this Kingdom Hearts thing. So played it. That was my kind of entry point to the series. Played it, had a generally good time with it, but I got stumped eventually at the boss Vexen towards the end of Sora's story. I tried battling him over and over and over again. I just could not like get past him. It stumped me. So I gave that one up, sadly. Flash forward to 2020, and I bought a PS4 from my friend, and one of the first purchases that I made for said PS4 was the Kingdom Hearts like store. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's the bundle that has basically every single Kingdom Hearts game. And I think I mentioned this in last episode, but in one of my Discord servers, we were doing a game recommendation swap for the holidays, where we each picked a game for each other's backlogs and assigned them to each other to play. And so the one that I was assigned was Kingdom Hearts. So I played the first Kingdom Hearts, was really into it, had a really good time. And the next game in the story is obviously, or maybe not obviously, because the numbering and the naming of Kingdom Hearts games is super obtuse. So the next game in the series, not obviously, you might think it's Kingdom Hearts 2, but no, it's Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. And there's two different versions. There's the version that exists for like PS4 and like the modern consoles called like Chain of Memories, which is the 3D version. But I was like, you know what? I want my revenge. I want to go back to the Game Boy Advance version and see if adult me can beat Vexen. So I emulated the Game Boy Advance version, got all the way to Vexen, and I'm happy to report that I was able to beat him.
Awesome.
So I consider this.
Hell yeah.
I consider this one a victory because when I was originally thinking of this episode topic, my original thought was like not necessarily having to beat the game that stumped us as a child, but being able to beat
the part,
the boss or the stage that stumped us, and I be able to like defeat Vexen finally with my adult brain. He was still very hard, by the way. It was a hard battle.
He's not a super easy boss. The gimmick is difficult in the GBA version. He's piss easy in Chain of Memories.
Ooh.
That's another thing that I've heard. Another reason I wanted to play the GBA version as opposed to Rechain of Memories is because I heard that the Rechain of Memories is easier, and I wanted to have the satisfaction of beating the guy who frustrated me so much as a child.
Rechain of
I will
Memories is
say, so
honestly just the worst version,
Oh, really?
except for the
Oh.
fact that it's cutscenes. The switch to 3D is cool, but it also actually kind of destroys the gameplay.
that's what I hear. Yeah. I will say, so I beat Vexen and I got a bit further. I still haven't beaten the GBA version of the game because what made me ultimately drop it and just end up opt for watching the cutscenes instead. Because a lot of people had said like, oh, you can skip Chain of Memories, just watch the cutscenes. But I was like, no, I want to give it a try. But what it made me ultimately drop Chain of Memories, the GBA version, was that I was in, I think, the penultimate world. I'd beaten Vexen, I'd beaten like some other stuff. I wanted to get to the boss for said world, but I didn't have the appropriate
Card.
I didn't have because like to get to like there's this whole system where you have to unlock doors
Yeah.
using cards and stuff, and I didn't have a card that could unlock the door for the final boss, and so I grinded a little bit to see if an enemy would drop a card, and after like half an hour of grinding, still no luck, and I was like, I don't want to spend like hours and hours praying to RN Jesus to have the opportunity to maybe
Dude.
get to the final boss. I was like, I'm out. Like this is poor game design. So
Dude.
that's the game that
I gotta come in here
can't claim to have beaten yet.
because this reminds me of this isn't like I beat it later, but this is a childhood memory. So there's the normal story and then there's the Riku story in Chain of Memories, right?
Yeah.
So the normal story's final boss door actually isn't like that hard to unlock. You might need to go back and get a little bit of stuff, maybe put some stuff. The final one of the Riku story requires, I believe it is 3, but maybe more, exactly 9s of each color. I got to that door. I did not have the 9s. I spent so long getting specifically the 9s because I had not really properly done it. I remember that was like, I still liked it though.
No, I was like, I'm not grinding for the chance to maybe be able to fight this boss. Like, I'm out.
It's too bad because the final
Also,
boss of Chain of Memories is actually pretty sick.
I enjoyed watching the cutscene of it. Maybe when I finally play Rechain of Memories, I will be able to experience it. One other thing, last thing to end on for this one is after I beat Vexen, I went back and I loaded up I found my old DS Lite and I put in my old Chain of Memories cartridge to see exactly like what child me had going on in my playthrough, and I looked at my deck composition. I was like, "Baby girl, what is you doing? No wonder you were stuck on this boss for so long." Because the way my deck structure, I was basically had set myself up for failure. So the way the combat system works is you can like link multiple cards together to perform a stronger attack called, I believe, a sleight.
But
at the cost of one of the cards. So you like, for example, you link 3 cards and then you perform this sleight, but then it consumes one of the cards. And so the way that I had my deck set up was I had so I would have like 3 fires in a row and like 3 lightnings in a row and then like 3 ices in a row and then 3 summons in a row. So basically every time that I was going through, so the first time through the deck, I would be able to use like the full power, like Firaga, Blizzaga versions of the spells. But then because I was losing one of the cards for each sleight, and I didn't have sort of like, I wasn't thinking of like the overall deck composition, like every time I would go through the deck, I would just be getting weaker and weaker and weaker. So I was like, I clearly didn't realize that you're supposed to have like good synergy that like lasts. You're supposed to use a sleight, but then also have it like tie into combinations for like your upcoming combos. I that system was lost on me, and witnessing what child me was thinking with my adult one, I was like, oh, no wonder I was having so much difficulty.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my experiences so far.
Funny enough, I also tended to put mine in like clumps of like elemental, the Keyblade with the highest number first, then the lowest number, except the zeros were at the start because they were so important. I think another thing too with that real quick is there's one sleight, I forget its name, where he just tosses the Keyblade and it flies around. And that's so much better against like a Vexen than like Firaga and stuff too.
The Chain of Memories strats
Hey.
over here. Hell yeah. I'm happy
Right.
happy that I dropped that game as a kid and never returned to it.
I actually really like it. I really enjoy it, but it doesn't seem like
in
that's
general,
for
I think
everyone.
I think a lot of people really don't like the card-based combat, and I personally like that system. It's also kind of unfortunate that one of like the least favorite games or least popular games in this series is one of the most crucial ones for understanding the lore of Kingdom Hearts. But
Yeah, otherwise you're
oh
like, who the fuck is Organization 13?
Who the fuck actually understands the plot of this anyway? Like, even if you have all the info.
Well, the first 3 games, I'm
Oh,
gonna tell you right now,
gosh.
the first 3 games of Kingdom Hearts actually have really easy to follow stories. They
Sure.
are not complicated.
Sure.
Then after the first 3 games, they decided to make it really complicated. But if you
Yeah,
play
lots.
the first 3 games in order, you will not be confused. It is not a difficult story to understand.
All right.
It wasn't until Dream Drop
I've
Distance where I felt like I really needed to sort of
Yeah,
like
Dream Drop Distance fucked
pause
it.
and like take notes.
Dream Drop Distance fucked it. Usually, even if there was like some lore, it was like fairly easy to understand. I think it started with Birth by Sleep, but Dream Drop Distance just made the whole thing nonsense.
God damn.
I always
Anyway,
wanted to try playing Kingdom Hearts because I have the first one, but I think I got like 2 worlds into it, and then I was like, I don't care enough anymore, so I just stopped playing. And then they just went on their whatever they're doing now. So
you know,
eventually, maybe I probably won't play them, but I'll probably like watch like a let's play or something of a few. In my mind, I was just thinking of the gummy ship. That's the coolest part of it.
That's not a common opinion, I don't think.
I
I,
hate the
I,
gummy ship in the first game, but it gets better as the
Okay.
series goes on.
the gummy ship in the first game I think is fine. I'm a big Star Fox 64 fan, so I like the style, but there wasn't much going on.
I need more of that in games where you just let me like customize and like modular ships. That'd be
Right,
really
yeah.
cool.
But this actually reminds me something that we should totally. Man, did we actually have this as a discussion topic? But us talking about these childhood games would be as a thought. We should do like childhood white whales, games we always wanted to play or
Well,
beat,
to be
but never did.
okay, so not exactly that, but I
Like-
was gonna ask what are games that, from our childhood at least, that we are planning to actually beat at some point, but we haven't actually managed to yet or didn't get to yet. Not
Can it
exactly that,
count
but
if I didn't own the game?
I mean, if it's something that you have played as a kid in some way,
No, I didn't play
yeah,
it.
then
No, that was,
that's not for this discussion, homie.
that's what I thought. I mean, I know I really want to go back and beat Wind Waker as well as Majora's Mask. I was bad at most Legend of Zelda games, man.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you the story of how I got stuck in the one dungeon
God.
in Wind Waker and it's the stupidest story.
Wind Waker is a tough one.
Okay, but the one I got stuck on was not tough. I'm gonna tell you right
Oh
now.
boy.
So you know, like one of the early dungeons, it's like the grassy dungeon.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at the front there's a door and it's covered in a vine, and you have to burn
Yeah.
it. I could not understand this
Right,
concept.
yeah.
I was cutting it. I was like grabbing the nearby nut and throwing it at it. I did everything except apparently grabbing a stick and burning it. I got stuck on that for over a
That took
year.
me a while too.
Over a year.
Well, okay, but like that's the fun thing about Zelda games where like sometimes they'll come up with new concepts in a game and it'll take me forever to be like that's what like it took forever for me to understand like bomb flowers because I was like I'm not going to use the disposable ones. I'm going to get the bag and put them in and they were like no, those are the bombs from this game. You have to put them in your inventory and use those. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Right.
And yeah, just the concept of things burning took forever for me.
Fire?
That reminds me of two different things, kind of. One is I can't remember if I've mentioned my Wind Waker experience on the podcast, but it was kind of a similar thing to my Sonic Adventure 2 experience where I was almost at the end. For this one, I was like I had I think like one more dungeon to do, and then I need to head to fight the final boss. But before I could make it to the final boss, my memory card got corrupted. So to this day, I've never actually finished Wind Waker. Now that it's on the Nintendo Switch 2 online,
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might be able to finally get back to it and see it through to completion, but sadly technical difficulties prevented me from beating it as a child. But also the mention of the grassy dungeon reminded me of a grassy dungeon in another game that I got stuck in, which was Golden Sun. As a kid, there's another early dungeon. You're like in a tree, and you have to do some puzzles, moving logs and stuff around. And I got very stumped on those as a kid. I remember later on, I think maybe back when I was in high school or something, I revisited, and I was like, "Oh, this is not even that hard. This is a breeze." And I cleared said puzzles at that time, but never ended up finishing the game. But then maybe like 2-ish years ago, when Golden Sun came to Nintendo Switch Online, I finally was like, you know what, it's time to. I've wanted to play this game for ages. Time to actually do it, and I was able to, do the full playthrough from start to finish. I had a lot of fun doing it. Still need to play The Lost Age, but yeah, I just forgotten until now that that is a childhood game that I was able to successfully beat as an adult.
I remember here's a sad story that I wanna actually share. I'm not sure if I actually told this before. I remember on the elementary school playground, I traded cartridges, Game Boy cartridges with a kid, and I gave away Donkey Kong Country 3, I guess, I believe,
Oh.
to gain Aunt's Racing, and I have regretted it pretty quickly, and it has always stuck with me because
Oh.
Aunt's Racing is not a good game. But a couple years ago, I was reminded
Shocking.
of that. I don't think as a kid I even played it much because I realized pretty quickly it's a top-down racer on a Game Boy Color. Like, what the hell? I'm not gonna fucking spend time with that. But as an adult, like a couple years ago, actually, I was kind of reminded of that, and I was like, I'm gonna make this my project. I'm gonna, as retaliation for this, I'm gonna beat this game finally. And I did, grind out Aunt's Racing on a Game Boy Color through an emulator, and it was still bullshit and nonsense, but it was doable, and I'm, like, happy to have that checked off and, like, kind of, like, took revenge for my childhood self in that sense.
Mm.
The ants were stepped on.
Oh my god. Yeah. Um, you know what I find funny, though? There's a couple games that I did not finish as a kid, and they grew in my mind growing up as being a game that they actually aren't because I had such limited information. Like, I remember playing
Mm.
Zool on the Super Nintendo, which is a quirky mascot character platforming game, and the first world is, like, all based on, like, candy and sweets. And I for my entire life up until, I believe, last year, I thought the entire game was, like, candy themed and whatnot. When they put out, like, a remake of it on Steam, and I purchased that and thought I would finally actually play this game from my childhood, and I was, uh, dumbstruck by the many differently themed, worlds in this game that I could never have fathomed, and that was, like, kind of a wild experience. That was a
That
posit
does sound
but that was a
wild.
positive version of that. I have also a negative version where as a kid, we had a demo for the PC game Dungeon Siege, which is like one of those sort of Diablo-like RPG games. And I remember playing through that demo, the first chapter or whatever you could call it, plenty of times because I really enjoyed exploring that environment, even with the limitations given in the demo, and finding different hidden stuff for my inventory, for my character, even in this demo environment through these multiple playthroughs. And I always wished I could have the full version at some point. And this is a couple of years ago as well. As an adult, this game is also available on Steam, and I was able to purchase it without problems. And I had a really good time going through the environment of the demo and was excited to finally reach the threshold of where the demo always ended and go into the actual meat of the game, into the new worlds and whatnot. And it turns out, uh, right after the demo, the game actually truly starts. It's almost like the first half was just a introduction, almost like a tutorial thing. And the actual game doesn't have you control one main character and go through these fantasy adventures. You're gonna build uh, a group, a squad of different characters and have to like strategically control them in real time at the same time. And I was like, okay, I'm out. This is not what I wanted for 20 years. This is not what I was thinking this game would be. I cannot handle this. I'm disappointed. I'm gonna leave.
But what if it's good?
It might be, and maybe I will give it a second shot at some point. But at that point, there was like a true holy shit, I've never expected this, and this is so disappointing. My life
That
has
is very
changed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bro is too cool for Zool.
No, Zool is dope. I beat that shit, and I love that. That is a good game. I just didn't
Yeah.
know about what else it had.
The closest thing I have to trying and failing was this game Pocky and Rocky, which I have. Well, you can't see him now because it's nighttime. But I bought. They had like
Aw.
a remaster for PlayStation 4 or whatever. And my dad and I played Pocky and Rocky. This was for the Super Nintendo way back in the day. And between the two of us could not figure it out. And I was like, you know what? I really enjoy that game. Maybe I'll like buy it eventually one day or whatever. And I was looking for something online and I saw like just had like the little plush figure on the side. And I was like, I'm sorry, what's this? And it was like, it comes with like the remaster of the game. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll play that game again. Sure. I'll definitely be able to beat it as an adult by myself. No, could not even get through the first level on my own. So that shit is hard.
With these retro games, though, I have even the ones that I revisited and could still not beat as an adult. Oftentimes, they were still a satisfying realization because you got the confirmation that the game is actual bullshit a lot of the times,
Yeah.
and you were not able to,
Yeah.
Right.
properly see that as a kid. I remember, I talked about this on the podcast when it happened. I played the Amazing Spider-Man game on Game Boy, and like even as an adult, I was like, yeah, no, this is this is not it, Chief. I'm not gonna.
It is so not
Yeah,
it, Chief.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've beaten that game. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about. It's the definition of not it.
There's a lot of the NES games in particular, like the
Mhm.
Ninja Turtles and
Yeah.
Jaws and Battletoads even were like it was hard and I was just like, well, like nobody else really knows about this. And then like as the internet progressed, it was just like, no, everybody hates these
Yeah.
games. They're so hard. And it's like, oh, okay, I feel validated now. Like it wasn't just me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was correct all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frick you, Bob
I
Dad.
got this conversation, the one right before it kind of triggered my mind. That a game I played this year definitely counts for the Diallo thought of like played as a kid. This one segment was too hard to beat. And then I finally beat it. And that was Ridge Racer 64,
Hell yeah, dog.
which is fucking
Oh
hard.
gosh.
This is a tough ass. I would be really curious if Matt could even beat this
Oh
game.
boy.
I did not
No,
technically
no, no.
I did not beat the game yet, technically. Because I never won the last 2 courses, which are like their own little thing. But when I was younger, you go through all the normal courses, and that's not too tough, and then you get to the reverse courses. And aside from reversing the tracks, the game becomes much more difficult in what it's asking of you. And I don't remember exactly how far I got. I'd have to go set my Nintendo 64 at some point and go look on my memory card to figure it out, which I'm not doing. But I got stuck in those reverse courses, and I remember I wasn't even close as a kid. Like, I was just getting destroyed on whatever. I thought it was Renegade I got stuck on, but I think it might have even been like Revolution. I'm not sure. But this year, after going through like all the Ridge Racer games last year, Type 4, the first one, Ridge Racer Revolution stuff, and Ridge Racer 64 got added to Nintendo Switch Online. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back to Ridge Racer 64. I'm going to play it. I'm going to see how far I can get. I'm going to tell you right now, it took me a long time. It took me a long time to get through the stuff that I didn't beat before. I played this game for about 11 hours,
Yeah.
but I beat the tracks
On.
that I couldn't beat as a kid. And let me tell you, sometimes I was gnashing my teeth like, I'm so close. This is not an easy game.
This is dope though. Like it's Ridge Racer. Surely there were not a lot of tracks actually, right? Probably just a handful.
There's 3 from the original Ridge Racer, 3 from Revolution, 3 new tracks,
All right.
then reverse versions of all those tracks, then a new track that has a reverse version.
All right, that's actually a bigger package than I thought.
Yeah, there's 20 total, but about half of them are reverse versions. Although on some of the tracks, the reverse version, like they make you take a new path to make the track make sense. So
Yeah.
it still is like
Oh.
it's a bit newer than just a true reverse. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But it's still just a reverse ultimately.
I'm scared. If I'm ever gonna tackle it, I'm scared now to to try it.
I want to hear do
Oh
Type
boy.
4 first would be my
Yeah,
recommendation because Type 4 is the better
for
game.
sure, yeah.
I will say Ridge Racer 64, it's a good game though. I
I'm
enjoyed it.
sure of it, yeah.
But man, Well, and some of it is just the controls. Some of the non-Type 4 Ridge Racer games, they're drifting. I just can never get a good handle on it. I think it's kind of stinky. But they just also ask you to get really, really high time, like really good times, it feels like sometimes. Anyway,
I can actually follow this up with another vehicular game that I had similar
all
experience
right, let's
with.
go.
The original driver game we had as a PC game, and I remember like truly this was my GTA because it has a free roam mode. Although of course you cannot actually leave the vehicle, but like I spent genuinely countless hours of just messing around with the car in the two environments that are like available from the start, and just driving through every nook and cranny of that world, and just like um, bothering the police so they chase me and have like super cool action chases and whatever, just messing around. The actual campaign, I never think even properly touched. There's a big wall in the beginning, even. The tutorial level for this driver game is infamous for being difficult.
Oh, I know.
Because it wants you to do every single movement with this car in a tiny cramped parking lot area. And like it's a I think it's like almost meme status in certain circles that it is like really hard to get this stuff done, this checklist of moves, and it's supposed to be the tutorial to even get you into the main campaign. I don't think I ever actually beat that as a kid. Probably used a cheat code to get into the actual campaign and dabbled a bit with that, but never actually got far with that either. So as an adult, I did revisit this and thinking I'm more capable now. I will surely get um, further into this and maybe even beat this. I love this game, just not for the campaign. Maybe we can change that. And like the tutorial level is still tricky. I was able to make it through that though, but like even the story campaign is so hard that I gave up pretty quickly, even as an adult. Like, child me could have
Damn.
could have never. Like, that was appropriate that I didn't even give it a proper shot and just messed around in free roam mode. That so I kind of got further than my child self. So similar with you than Ridge Racer 64, but like I
Makes sense.
don't even call it a success really because I still couldn't actually get anywhere in the campaign with the difficulty of that game.
Why'd they make Driver so difficult?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Uh, yeah, that's a game that I failed at. Well, are there any major games that we want to beat from our childhood? Is there anything on our planned list?
Well, as I mentioned, Majora's Mask, Wind
Yeah,
Waker.
right.
Other ones would probably be like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which I think I either just got bored in or got lost in, but I've tried to beat multiple times. Twilight Princess, because
Hmm.
honestly, I just kind of lost interest, I think, at one point and never beat it. And Tales of the Abyss, which is a game I love, except they put a save point behind a boss with no way to heal, so I
Oh
essentially
my
fucked my
god.
entire save. And
What?
I don't ask me, I don't know why.
Gotta do
And my
rotating
my
saves,
previous
dude.
game, no, I did, but my rotating save was like from 2 hours before because there was
Yeah.
cutscenes and stuff,
Fuck.
and I didn't feel like going back. I was like, fuck that shit. So I've never actually gone back and beat it.
Damn.
Those are the main ones off the top of my head.
My main one is I now own on PC all of the Tomb Raider games up to the reboot.
Mhm.
My goal next year is to play not play all of them, but like whittle down my non-Steam PC backlog. And all of the Tomb Raider games I have are on Epic, so I guess that gets included in that as well. Do
Tomb
that
Raider
first.
4: The Last Revelation is the only Tomb Raider we had as a kid when I was a kid, and there was always a specific puzzle that we never got past. So that's kinda on my try list as an adult as well, but I don't know if I actually wanna do that one.
I've got a handful of games like on my backlog that I started as a kid and never
Yeah.
finished. Nothing that I have lined up to play immediately, but a couple lingering ones.
Yeah, I have a bunch of, especially on the Game Boy, there's a bunch of games that I have open from childhood or like found on a random bootleg 101 game cartridge from a friend that I want to revisit, that
Oh
sort of
yeah.
thing. And
Right.
I'm gonna name this here, so if I actually get to it, I can call it like a success. And like I told you, Zone of the Enders, The Fist of Mars on the Game Boy Advance is a seemingly pretty intricate turn-based strategy game. I've never seen the anime, uh, but I loved the game as a kid. But it's so long that I've never actually got to the end to it before, like losing my save file or whatever. So that's kind of like white whale status if you're talking about that stuff. You know what I mean? Someday I
Yeah.
will get to that.
That's a game I've had on my backlog too. Not that I've ever played it beforehand. Just like, oh, that looked interesting.
It's dope as heck with the mechanics. I remember it being dope as heck. But that aside, how about we play a game that we can actually finish today? Don't have to come. Well, we will come back to this, but only for more rounds.
Together.
So, new year, new us or whatever. Guess the game is out for now.
What?
And we have a brand new, fresh little thing that we have creatively called the collection game. I don't know. We might. This is a living work in progress. This might change shape and whatnot as we go on. It might get a catchier title in the future, but for now, it is the collection game, and I will try to tell you how this game works as best I can. For this game, we will make use of How Long to Beat's collection feature, which was introduced, I think, just a couple years ago. It's relatively fresh, where people can, of course,
Yeah.
make their own collections of games in whatever way they want. And we are going to, or I, as the host of this game, I'm going to pull a random collection using the search feature on the website. I will provide of this collection the title of the collection, the user that created, and the amount of games on it. We have some, it has to be at least 10 games and the stuff, so it and the sort, so it actually works for this. But my co-hosts here, one after the other, have to guess games from this collection and earn points for it. And to further their abilities to strategically work on this, we are having a power-up system where they can purchase certain like extra information to improve their guesses. We are getting the guess the game scores are going to be converted into credits here. Or like the guess the game points are going to be continued here. And they are also the credits to purchase these power-ups from. To give a quick overview of what you can purchase. Um, you can spend, for example, one of your points to know the average length of a collection. You can spend 2 credits to get the description of the collection, if there is one. You can spend 3 credits to get the most popular game on the list revealed by me, the host, to get a further clue as to what this list might be about. And for 5 whole credits, well, I'm gonna
God.
reveal that when we get to that. So let us begin here. I'm going to pull a random collection.
All right, what's he gonna pull out of his hat?
I'm pressing the randomize button right here. Here we go. It's loading. If Diallo has to leave.
It's about. I should go now. To be honest, I should go. I should go like a bit ago.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Because my internet is apparently not cooperating, I'm gonna give the host rights to to Roy today. So
Yeah.
yeah, would you like to pull up a fresh collection and
Yeah.
get us guessing? Yeah,
I kind of want to put the test random one that I got because I wanted to see people guess it, and I might forget if I don't do it now.
I guess. Sure.
Well, in that case, after having hit random, which got me this before. Actually, you know what? No, I'm just gonna hit a true random. Fuck that shit. Also, How Long to Beat is working for me. So
Yeah, I have had problems with How Long to Beat recently. I think it's a European provider thing or whatever.
okay, this would admittedly probably be an easy one. The list name is Megami Tensei by One Collection. It has what is it? 58 games. 58
I
games.
don't know what that is. I think I'm gonna use my.
You don't know what Megami Tensei is?
No, I think I would use my veto there.
Okay, it's the really famous RPG
Oh,
series.
Shin
dude.
Megami Tensei. Oh, now I get it.
No, it's just Megami Tensei because the original games aren't. But Shin Megami Tensei is technically a
I'm still
spin-off.
gonna use my veto. Fuck that.
All right, random again.
Oh my god.
Achievements / trophies mine 100% all platforms SL117 by St. Louis 117, which has 71 games.
Can you put that title in the chat? I cannot visualize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to I can't copy it. Okay.
Oh,
Let me just
oh.
get. You can't copy the names for some reason.
How many did you say how many games are on the list?
71.
71.
SL117 is almost certainly because he's just St. Louis 117. There it is.
Achievements, trophies, mine. 100% all platforms. Fuck off.
Alright. Is Leah gonna veto? 71 games.
No, I'm not.
Oh my god, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna say Matt, you start because you going first with this is your punishment for your
Oh,
internet.
okay, sure. Fuck, I don't so achievements and trophies. So it's probably not gonna be old games unless they use retro achievements, but I kind of feel like that sort of person might not. I don't know. I'm gonna
Depends what you know about St. Louis 117.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I'm gonna say Gears of War. That seems like an achievement game.
Alright, well, give it a moment.
Here we go again.
There's no Gears of War.
So the search is broken, so this might actually not be just me then, the problem. Okay. And Control F, I could have figured it out. Well, not with the 2000 title list. So
But no, that's not
no Gears of War.
Yeah, if it's paginated, then.
Okay, so that's my
All right,
first one,
Leah.
guess, yeah.
What you got?
Shit, that's too old. Achievements. Last of Us Part 2.
Alright.
Part 2
This is 2 pages.
specifically.
No.
Oh god.
Okay.
This might be a blowout here. I'm gonna say, what the hell is this? Oh, I mean, I could use a power up or whatever.
Is it worth it?
That's the
Is
question.
that gonna really help
That's
you?
the question. The average length reveal is not. It might reveal the type of game that this person is playing, but I don't think it's gonna be that helpful.
Yeah.
The description reveal, I don't think there's gonna be anything helpful in there, if there is one. The most popular game, that I think that is the potentially best one to get some hint. But 3 points. I do have the most points from Guess the Game.
Also, what does that mean, by the way? Do I like
You
sort it?
sort by game rating, and then the first one is like the most popular game. I'm gonna spend 3 of my points to reveal the most popular game.
Alright. It is Portal 2 is the most popular on here.
Okay, then my guess is going to be. Well, was Portal? Yeah, I'm gonna say Portal 1.
Alright. Let me just. Nope.
Fuck off, dog.
I don't think Portal 1 even has achievements.
On Steam, surely.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
But no.
Fuck.
Dude, all Matt has done is lose points.
Yeah, it's not great.
Superliminal.
Oh wow.
Superliminal.
Yeah.
No.
I'm assuming this is more of a mainstream gamer, not somebody specifically into puzzle games.
There's one nobody will
that
get.
was
I
my
keep
point.
wishing I could give as a hint because it's so fucking stupid.
I'm gonna say this is my last guess. If I'm wrong again, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
So there's so Matt I need you to be clear. There are multiple games called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh my! I'm gonna say
Which
the
one?
new
God.
one. I'm gonna say the new one. The recent one.
No.
Get the fuck out, dude!
All right, Leah, what are you doing? You can get a point if you just think about what just happened.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
God damn it.
She doesn't take the coward's way out.
I want to say Metal Gear Solid, but I don't know which Metal Gear Solid would have started with the achievements.
That's
So,
a tough one.
and I don't know the names of all of them too.
Even tougher.
One thing about this list, it certainly provided more energy, I think.
Yeah.
Sniper Elite 4.
Sniper Elite 4, I gotta check that. Sniper, no. Nobody gets anything.
Sorry. Oh my fucking god.
All that happened is Matt lost 3 points.
Yeah. Wait, no, actually, Leah
Okay.
still has a guess. She has.
Great game.
No, she
Oh.
got 3 wrong.
Oh, was it 3? Okay. Then I
Yeah, you
lost
both
track.
went back and forth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, just so you know, Matt, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2009 is on.
Yeah, I figured. God damn.
Also, Call of Duty Modern
Oh.
Warfare Remastered, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, and Call of Duty 2.
This sucks. This sucks.
Call of Duty
Josh.
The one I
Okay.
saw here too that was so funny is Big Shot Billiards 2.
What the fuck is that? Well, that.
Real quick,
Yeah.
the most popular games that were on this list were Portal 2, It Takes Two, Red Dead Redemption, Quell Zen, and Halo 3.
Right, yeah. There was a chance to guess a lot of stuff out there, but we kind of both fumbled big time. Me even more so by spending points for nothing.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just know when to hold back.
Yeah. So we're ending with a score of, Diallo has still 9, safe and secure. Leah got her 7, I got 7 now. And of course, Roy, unchanged 9 from previous Guess the Game games. What a.
So wait, who hosts the game?
Yeah, that is.
Do I just do it again?
If you are fine with hosting the game again next time, we could just do this
I
time.
think it'd be funny if nobody gets anything, the host just hosts again next time. Honestly,
You know what? Sure, yeah. Sure. What a fantastic
that's in the rule.
first rounds of
Oh
this
my
game.
Excellent game. Excellent game.
Excellent. We've come up with a real winner
What
here.
a catastrophe that was. Good lord. Well, that being said, I hope, dear listener, your start of the new year is going better than ours here. We hope you had a good New Year's Eve celebration or whatever the hell you're doing, and let's keep on trucking into 2026. Thanks for listening, everybody. Tell us about your childhood games that you beat as an adult. All of that. Catch us on Discord and the forum. And
make sure to make watching more of the podcast one of your New Year's resolutions.
there you go.
Eternally late to the podcast, Frozen Roy signs off.
See you all next year. Happy holidays. Be safe.
Goodbye.
Bye.